Hello guys, how are you? Cryptus here. I'm still a nerd in this technology of StreamYard. I see Deja Vu and Jenny in the chat, but I was not live. So how did you know, guys, that I was here? That's crazy. I don't understand. Uh, Today is gonna be a quick live. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Katy Allen and what do I think about her in the sense of she being silent about the about her husband Richard Allen. So, in my opinion, she's not to blame. I don't know what do you think, guys, about that. And then after that, I'm gonna think about the sleep paralysis phenomenon. This is a condition I suffer. I don't know if you know about that. And I'm just gonna. I want to talk a little bit about that. As usual, I'm gonna play a short video here while waiting for you guys. And this is one of my favorite bands, it's an indie band from Australia. They are Rancid Eddie, and this is a cover of Freaks from Surf Cars. So it's gonna be like a 2 minutes video while waiting for you guys as usual.
Got to get the goods. Got to get them good. Go.
So that was Rancid Eddie playing a cover from Surf Cars. The song was Freaks, one of my favorite songs ever. So, hello guys, thank you for being here. We have 7 viewers. This is a Guinness record. We have Julian, we have a Cosmic Shy, we have Jenny. Hello, Jenny, how are you? Nice to have you here. This is a quick live, guys, today. So, the first part of of this live is gonna be about Katy Allen, really quick, really um short, and then I'm gonna talk about the sleep paralysis, a condition I suffer when I'm sleeping, and this is really scary. I don't know if you know about that. So I'm just gonna share my experience about it. So let's start with this. Let me play. Okay, no. Let's talk first about Katy Allen, guys. What do you think about about her? A lot of people, I don't know, what do you think about? They say she's to blame because she stayed silent. She should be able to recognize Richard Allen. Let's say that Bridge guy is actually Richard Allen in that video. In my opinion, he's Bridge guy. I'm not sure, or I cannot say. I don't have uh, the whole evidence to say that he's the killer of the girls, but at least to me, it makes sense that the guy in the bridge is Richard Allen. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of discussion online, let's say, about his wife, Katy. And there's like a division of opinion here. A lot of people say that Katy Allen should recognize Richard Allen, and that she should go to law enforcement to notify that the guy in the video is her husband. Other people disagree. I'm in that path. In that I think she's not to blame, and I'm gonna explain why do I think so, right? The first thing, or actually the principal thing, the main thing here is the confusion when law enforcement was telling to the public the information they thought it was important for the public. That information was really confusing, and there were a lot of things that if I'm the wife of Richard Allen, uh, I wouldn't know what to say about that. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is about the blue eyes. As you know, Richard Allen, he has blue eyes, right? But if you remember this, how can I say that? This statement of the Sergeant Riley, he said clearly that Richard Allen, he didn't have, or
What
that,
about
that, that, that,
suspects as
this
opposed?
guy, he didn't have blue eyes. But even before that, let's see this video, because this is part of the confusion here too. Law enforcement, they say that there's a lot of contradictory statements here, but one of the statements was that the voice or the audio in that video, it was potentially not the same voice of the guy in the image in the video. It's like the image and the audio were two total different person, different people. So that confuses the public, right? So let's just play these videos just less than 1 minute here.
What about suspects as opposed, or suspect as opposed to suspects? Has that been addressed?
What we have publicly addressed is people want to make the assumption that the voice saying down the hill, it belongs to the person that's captured in the image from the cell phone. That's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the
So that was just a first statement from law enforcement. They're saying here that the voice and the audio is not necessarily the same. So I think that that plays a little bit. Let me just continue with the next video here. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit lost with this. Something's going on here with my computer, my internet, but okay. Okay, it's here, right. So let's go to minute 40. Let's listen to the Sergeant Riley here. And what was he saying about the blue eyes? Okay, give me just 1 second. Sorry, be patient, guys. So remember, this is important to me. Richard Allen, he has blue eyes, right? And remember that the Sergeant Riley, he said on TV that British guy, he didn't have blue eyes. So if you are the wife of Richard Allen and your husband, he has blue eyes, and at the same time the police or law enforcement is telling you that that guy in the bridge, he doesn't have blue eyes. So what's gonna be in your mind? So let's remember this. Riley said about the British guy and the color of his eyes.
Or the person was not clear on the color of the eyes, which the person said it was definitely not blue. She was the person was very obvious that it was not blue eyes, but they did mention that they were not clear on which color it was.
He said that the British guy, he doesn't have blue eyes. He has eyes of different colors. So we know that Richard Allen, he has blue eyes. The information is so confusing that we cannot take any conclusion. Maybe. So that's another point that that creates a lot of confusion here, guys. Law enforcement was giving information on the news that at the end it was not representative of the reality, right? So British guy, Richard Allen, he has blue eyes, and law enforcement was saying, oh, he didn't have blue eyes. Another thing is, I don't know, what do you think about these guys? I know that we don't have like a lot of like a long voice sample of a British guy, but what I heard, the voice of Richard Allen, in my opinion, this is totally subjective, but his voice doesn't match the voice in that audio, even if I think he is British guy. But if I put myself in the shoes of Katy Allen, to me, first thing, he didn't have blue eyes. Second thing, the voice to me is not really a match. Let's continue with the next. What can I say? Things that were released to the public that were really confusing. We had the sketches. So we have the first old bridge guy sketch, the big face sketched old guy. He didn't look like Richard Allen at all. So if you are Katy Allen and you see that sketch released all over the place in the United States, in the planet, it doesn't look like your husband for real. So okay, if I'm Katy Allen, this is not my husband. Thank you for that, but even if she had some suspicious ideas, let's say, that sketch didn't help at all. So you have a sketch that it doesn't look like your husband. Audio that, in my opinion, it doesn't look like, it doesn't sound like her husband, and the blue eyes statement discards her husband as well. Let's say with the time, we have the second sketch. To me, it's the same thing. The first sketch and the second sketch, they don't look at all to Richard Allen. I know that people try to fit that faces or to match that faces with Richard Allen, but in my opinion, it doesn't look like him at all. To me, law enforcement was lost in that scenario. Also, Richard Allen, he talked, or he met law enforcement at the time. He talked to them. He said, I was there on the same date at approximately the same time. I was wearing the same clothes we can see in the video, the blue jacket, etc. So if he talked to his wife and he said, "Look, I went to the police. I gave my statement." So it's like some kind of trust can be built between Katy and Richard Allen to think that maybe he was not involved. Again, I think Richard Allen is a bridge guy, but in that sense, I wouldn't blame Katy Allen. Also, I think she's not a weak woman. She has some balls. She remember that Richard Allen, he had alcohol problems, and there's an event prior to the arrest. Actually, Katy Allen called the police because there was some kind of domestic. I'm not going to say violence event, but something was happening there, and she called the police, and they went to her house because apparently Richard Allen was drunk and he was causing trouble. So she's able to come forward. She's not a weak woman, in my opinion. If she has something to say, she's gonna be able to say it. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Those are a couple of elements that makes me think that Katy Allen shouldn't be blamed for staying silent, if that was the case, because we don't know if that's the case. Maybe Richard Allen is in jail, maybe because she said something. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Also, we don't know what happened when Richard Allen was arrested. Remember that Katy Allen and Richard Allen, they were inside their car while the search warrant was being conducted. And usually inside that car, there's like a camera and everything is recorded. We don't know what was the conversation there at that point. So that's going to be interesting. Let's wait for the process. So I'm gonna just pass through your messages here, guys, to see What are your opinions about this? So deja vu, sending hearts for you too. Jenny, same thing. Cosmic Shy from Texas. This is crazy. There's people from all over the place. I have Cosmic Shy from Texas, people from Netherlands, Australia. This is awesome, guys. Julian Friend, thank you, man, for being here. Cosmic, nice folky rhythm. Yeah, I love that band. They're from Australia. Actually, I love the original song, but I cannot play it here because of copyright issues. But I think the cover is awesome too. Cosmic Shy. I think she's gonna stand by her man as the singer Tommy Wynette sings. I don't know who's Tommy Wynette. Sorry for my ignorance here, man. But I'm gonna look for that. Hi Wata. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you here. You are one of the usual suspects in my channel, so thank you for being here again. I don't have an opinion on Katy Allen, as I'm not sure her husband did anything. That's a good point. That's a good point. We don't have the totality of the evidence here. We are just working with partial information, let's say, or limited information. To me, my feeling, against feeling, speculation, based on the limited information we have, to me, Richard Allen is bridge guy now. Is he the killer? I don't know. Let's see. I think there are other actors here, and you know my take in this case. I'm solid with Keegan Klein. He was involved in this crime, and most probably Tony Klein as well. So yeah, you have a good point here, Highwater. Jenny, as she should. I lost that. Julian Friend, I think that is impossible that she didn't know he was BG. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she had some feeling about that. But again, the information released by law enforcement was really confusing for everyone, including her. So that would create like a gap in her mind to give the possibility that maybe he wasn't the guy in the bridge. Even the statement about the gate, remember, look at that was really crazy, that statement. Look at the way he walks on the bridge. So at the beginning it's like, maybe bridge guy, he walks like that, but then he changed the statement. But maybe that's not the way he walks, because of the condition of the bridge or whatever. So it's confusing. It's like, what do you say that? Don't say it, or you say the guy walks like this, or the guy doesn't walk like this. But don't be 50-50. You know, it's like, look at the way he walks on the bridge, but remember that take into consideration that maybe he doesn't walk like that. What the fuck is that? It's crazy. So if I'm Katy Allen and Richard Allen walks like this, or maybe he is bridge guy, but he said that maybe he doesn't walk like that, or the opposite. If he doesn't walk like that, I don't know. That was stupid, in my opinion. What do you say that? Stupid statement. The mannerism, it was really confusing. Don't say it. Just say one thing or another one, but don't say 50-50. It's not intelligent, in my opinion. Again. I know she has a witchy love. I don't know. Jenny, you are judging her because she has a witchy love. Yeah, we do that. I don't know. You have a witch love yourself. Okay, that's cool. Comic shy, just praying for the truth to come to light, and those poor girls get the honest justice. Yeah, that's what we all want, right? I what? Jenny, I just want the guilty part held accountable. But the more the prosecution plays hide and seek with the discovery and Gall's bias, the more Richard Allen is looking innocent. If their case is so strong, I understand your point, but in my opinion, it doesn't look like he's innocent. I think at the least, again, my opinion, he's involved. I don't know at what extent, but I cannot say that he's the killer or that he acted alone. And again, I think Keegan Klein was part of this. And let's see what's going to happen. They wouldn't need to play these games. This investigation is a shit show. I agree. Too much funny stuff going on with law enforcement and the court. Yeah, this is a circus. Law enforcement asked anyone who was at the trails that day to come forward. He did that as a witness. Exactly. He did it. So that was one of my points to support my opinion about Katy Allen not to be blamed of this situation here. It would all come out at trial as it should. I don't understand why people think they should know all the evidence before trial. Yeah, you're right. I'm 100% with you, Julian. We don't know the totality of the evidence. I have the feeling that the prosecution, they have a lot of evidence against Richard Allen. A lot of information we don't know yet. We don't know what was found when they looked into his car. They took his car, and for sure they did a lot of. They took a lot of samples. I don't know if they found blood or some DNA samples, or I don't know. And that's just a small part of the information we don't know. What did they found inside his house? What did they record when Richard Allen and Katy Allen were talking into the car at the time the search warrant was being conducted? There was some kind of confession there, or I don't know. What about the cat, the fibers? There's a lot of information that, in my opinion, the prosecution they have, and they didn't release at this time because they don't need to do that. It's not good for them to release that information. They're gonna handle that information. They're gonna keep it quiet, and then they're gonna present that during the process. That's my feeling. I'm actually not very pro prosecution, but I think that's the case in that here. Oh my God, Cosmic Shy, $4. This is the first donation I have in my channel. Thank you for that, man, or guy, or girl. I'm kind of ashamed. Thank you so much. Hi, Wata. None of us know all the evidence. If it's inculpatory, we won't know until trial. That's why I'm ready for the trial. Exactly. That's what I was just saying. We don't know the evidence they have exactly, 100%. Okay, she's a country western singer. CJK, hello, how are you? Nice to have you here. Hi, Wato. I also think both clients were involved. The thing is, law enforcement has to be able to prove it. Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is maybe law enforcement is actually working with Keegan, and that's my feeling. They don't even have to prove it. They are working with him. They're playing dumb, both of them, Keegan and law enforcement. And we say that Keegan Klein, he's gonna have 40 years uh, in prison because of the CSAM stuff, whatever. But he's gonna be released before that, in my opinion. He has a deal with law enforcement, and he's like part of this situation. So I don't know. Let's wait. Just again, just my feeling. I'm just trying to connect dots here, guys. I may be wrong. I'm not the voice of God, of sure. I'm just expressing or exposing my feelings about this. Nice to find a sane and live chat. Oh, thank you so much, CJK. I hope it's gonna stay like that. Today you like me, tomorrow you hate me. You know how this YouTube community works. So I don't take compliments too well. I don't take bullying too bad. You know, it's part of the game. So whatever. Uh, Julian, she had to know that was him in the video. I don't know, man. Look, in my opinion, when I see the video and I know that I'm not Richard Allen's wife, of course, but I see the old sketch. When I see that video, that image, I can see someone like Ron Logan, even someone like Keegan Klein. It doesn't look, in my opinion, it doesn't look like Richard Allen. It doesn't look like him. I think Richard Allen is bridge guy, but I don't see him. I don't see him in that image, in that picture. So if I'm Katy Allen, if my brain and Katy Allen brain is working in the same sense, I don't see Richard Allen there for real. In That's my take. I may be wrong again, but I don't see Richard Allen as bridge guy. I think he is, but that image to me is not. It's not bridge guy because it's because it's too blurry. Maybe it's because it's too bulky. Maybe it's because he has something on his face, covering his face. Maybe, but I don't see really. I don't see Richard Allen there. I can see someone like Ron Logan, even like Keegan, but I don't see Richard Allen. So that's why I cannot blame Katy. But I understand your point as well, Jenny. There are many wives of serial killers that had no idea their husband were killing for 20 years. Yeah, and even if you have a little bit of suspicion, at the end you're gonna trust your partner. You know, let's say my girlfriend is all over the place in a video released by law enforcement, and it's a blurry image, a blurry video, and she's telling me no, that's not me. Maybe I'm gonna believe her. I don't know. That dynamic is interesting here. Anyway, CJK, you agree with Julian, which is fine. That's why we're here, just talking. The only person I've seen who walks like that is Shane Evans. Uh, was he walking like drunk or something like that? Let's say Richard Allen was. We know that he had alcohol problems, right? And one thing here, guys, is bridge guy that was not the first time he traversed or he walked through the bridge. He was there before. That bridge is really intimidating. The height, even the white is like really, the white is not, it's not so big. It's not so wide, and the height is, you can die if you do, if you make a false step, let's say. So in my opinion, he was there before, for sure. That was not the first time he was there. He was used to walk on that bridge. Now, if Richard Allen was bridge guy, and we see him walking like that on that bridge, it's because he was drunk. One of my theories is like he, let's say he had and we know that he had alcohol problems, right? It was like around what, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was not a time to go for a drink in a bar, let's say. So maybe he went to the trails with a bottle of alcohol inside his jacket, and that's why his jacket is so bulky. And maybe he was there just to drink because he likes to drink, and he didn't want to drink at home because he was ashamed of that. He didn't want to drink at one of the bars in Delphi because it was 2 o'clock. So shame on you, shame on you. You're a alcoholic guy. So maybe he said, "I'm gonna go to the trails I used to go. I'm gonna drink there." Let's say that it's just a theory. What if he was actually drunk, and that's why he's walking in that way in the bridge? And when you are drunk, you are able to do things that usually you don't do when you are in like in a normal state, let's say. So when you are drunk, you are able to talk to girls. You feel more comfortable to talk with people. You are even able to go like into a fight. In a normal state, you are like coward. But when you have alcohol, you are able to do things you don't do in when you have alcohol in your system, in your organism. What if he had some fantasies and he wanted to commit a crime before, and the alcohol that gave him some we say courage, like he was brave enough to do that, you know what I mean? So anyway, that was a random thought here. Julian Friend, most likely they didn't see a video of them before they committed the murders. Good point. Misty Free Spirits here. Hey, nice to have you here. Misty Free Spirit. CJK. Well, now we have Julie saying the bridge guy photo was taken from a trail cam. Are you talking about Julie Melvin? And I didn't know about that. And listen, let's wait for the evidence. 99% the picture was taken from the Libby's phone, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like that. And look, if you are talking about Julie Melvin, she's someone relevant in this case, in my opinion. I wouldn't take that as a joke. I understand that you're ironic and sarcastic, and I know why do you think about it, but I wouldn't discard. That's what I'm saying. That my dog is still a little bit mad. Sorry for that. I don't trust the video because give me just 1 second. My dog is sorry for that. So Jenny, I don't trust the video again. I don't trust the video because Libby's phone was planted underneath a shoe, underneath Abby, and the phone pinged at 4 a.m. I'm certain the killer looked in Libby's phone. Oh my god, my dog is. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to check on my dog. Sorry, she's a little bit anxious. Yeah, that thing about the pings is crazy. I don't know. I'm not an expert on how the phones works. It's interesting, huh? It may indicate that the bodies of the girls were moved. There were pings like at different places of the crime scene that may indicate that yeah, the girls, or at least the phone, was moved in that area. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. I know that Steve from True Crime Web, he made some interesting tests with phones, but I don't think that I don't think that those tests or those tentatives of representing the reality actually are representative of the reality of the way the phones work. So I don't know what to say about that. It's not my field of expertise, let's say. She is a profound liar, CJK. Who? Julie? Why do you say that? I don't know. I don't know Julie. Right. I know about her, but I don't know. What do you say? She's a liar. Seriously, not. It's not because I'm trying to be against you, but I just want to know what do you think about. What do you think like that? Maybe I don't have some information you have about her, but to me she looks just fine. But anyway, it's my perception. If the killer looked in Libby's phone, they most likely would have seen the bridge guy video and deleted it or altered it. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Huh? I have to think about it. Kind of tired right now. Oh my god, again, Cosmic Shy, thanks so much. $10. This is awesome. Don't be ashamed, my friend. Your heart is good. That's why I donate the love from US. Thanks so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Cosmic. Hi, what? So you suspect Keegan Klein's working with law enforcement? Yeah, that's what I think. That's my take. I'm pretty confident. I'm just connecting dots, but the whole situation about the after the interview of Keegan Klein in the Grissom Air Force Base, that triggered a lot of events. At the beginning of this case, a lot of people said that the case was like a cold case. 5-6 years without no developments, as we can say that the case was cold. And after that interview in the Grissom Air Force Base, everything was like really fast. You have the search of the Wabash River, and right after that you have the arrest of Richard Allen. It's just too coincident, and that's just a small part of the situation. But you have the Marathon gas station, you have the red jeep, you have the the confession or the testimony of one of the victims of Keegan Klein, where she says that she was receiving money from via the Cash App application, and you know that in the transcripts there's a statement from law enforcement saying that we have the money, the Anthony Chat's money account going to Libby's. I wouldn't be able to finish in this life to talk about Keegan. The Kyla or Lila's, I don't remember, Kyla's event where he said I would love you to, or something in that sense. I would like to watch you bleed out, something like that, which is in the same sense of the crime scene situation where the throats were cut and stuff like that. That transactional pattern where Keegan Klein was sending money to the girls or to the victims, and that was just to obtain personal information of that victims, of those victims, maybe to sell that information in the dark web. I would need to do like 3 or 4 lives to talk about that, but yes, to me, Keegan Klein was 100% involved, and maybe he's working with law enforcement, and let's say what's gonna happen in the process. Kimberly, I believe the phone video Libby was so smart to video. I think the horrific struggle, the phone got lost, and he was in a hurry and couldn't find it. But the phone was under Abby's back, so how is gonna be the phone lost? You know, and I think it was under the shoe or something like that. It was purposely placed on that specific area, so the phone was not lost, in my opinion. He knew where the phone was, and he did some kind of manipulation. I don't know what kind of manipulation, and he or they, because I'm thinking about different. My dog again. About different. Hey, hello, Farmer. Farmer is here. Cool, man. If you want to call, this is the link. I'm glad Farmer is here. So we were talking about the phone. So to me, it was not a random. He didn't. Not some. He knew where the phone was, and in my opinion, he manipulated the phone. Maybe he was trying just to turn off the phone or something like that, but he did some kind of manipulation, and at some point he placed the phone under the victim, he or they again. He was working with law enforcement, but he kept lying. Yeah, of course, he's a liar. I agree with you, and we all know that Keegan Klein is a liar. It's evident, but there's a pattern in when you hear Keegan statements, or when you read his statements, there's a pattern. He's always lying to get out of trouble. You know, that's like the baseline, in my opinion. When you say, I don't have anything to do with this, I didn't talk to the girls, I didn't know their addresses. Every time he was lying, it was to get out of trouble. But at some point, he made some statements against himself, and that difference makes me think that at some point he was telling the truth. Like, for example, let's say if the red Jeep statement is true, is not a lie, Uh, why do I think that's not a lie? Because he's placing himself in the crime scene, not in the crime scene site, but in the crime scene area, let's say, a red jeep. So if he said something like that, that's totally different. Again, when you think about his usual speech, So things like that makes me think that at some point he's telling the truth. The marathon gas station, the red jeep. There are some things that are not just lies. Farmer, hey farmer, how are you? Happy to have you here, man. Hope you're doing well. Dropbox, yeah, for sure. And remember that they were talking about the largest CSAM investigation in the history of Indiana. And we have this guy, Von Schaffner. I made a video about him. Tony. He said that to the girl he was supposedly dating when she brought a friend with her to the Riley Park to meet him. Justice Daily, hey, hello, I'm so happy you're here. Oh my God, I love your channel. Hey guys, please, if you don't, if you're not subscribed to Justice Serve Daily, just do it. She's awesome, a great sleuth or investigator, let's say. She has a lot of information and good videos about Keegan Klein and other person of interest in this case. So go check Justice Serve Daily. I'm gonna try to look to your channel here to share your address. So here is the channel. So I'm gonna just drop the link here. Subscribe to Justice Serve Daily. Yeah, I feel like an amateur at your, if I compare to you. Okay. Oh my God, farmer, super sticker. Come on, guys. Thank you so much. I feel weird. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your support, all of you. I saw a video Julie Melvin did with Crime Night. They both said that Kelsey killed the girls that's trying to hurt the family. Are you sure they say that? I don't watch Crime Night, but if they say that, my God. One thing, guys, here is it's hard to talk about the family. I understand that. I'm never gonna blame the family for sure. But when crimes are committed, usually the family is involved. I'm not saying the family is responsible or they have something to do with that, but there are revenge stuff, debts. If you owe money to other people and you are not able to pay that money, they're gonna come after you to make you pay in some way. I'm not saying the family is responsible. Of course they're not, or they have to do, or they are involved in the case. I'm just saying that it's normal to look into the family. I'm not gonna go into that because I know that community is crazy, but I hope you understand my point. if someone was having drug deals, if someone had some money problems, if there was some love relation, whatever. It's normal to look into the family. I know that in this community they do it in the wrong way, but just saying, and I hope you understand my point here, right? Jenny, I never heard Julie say Kelsey killed the girls. What's the video she was on? What date? Yeah, I don't think so. I agree. I don't think she said that. Justice, no. Thanks to you for being here. I feel honored, actually. Julie, no. Julie nor Cram Knight ever said that. I don't think they said that. Julian, I can't remember the date. It was the most disgusting thing I have seen yet. It was unbelievable. Cosmic Shy, it will be very interesting what season stuff comes out in the long run and who else gets caught. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of, as Carter said, a lot of tentacles. I think there's maybe a Dropbox situation here. In one of my previous videos, I was explaining or telling you guys my theory about Keegan Klein and what do I think he made. He was conducting some kind of database business database, in the sense that he was obtaining personal information from the victims he was catfishing. And remember that he was sending money to his victims via the Cash App application, and he was instructing the victims on how to use that Cash App application. And when you are instructing the victims, at that point, they're gonna give you the personal information, phone number, address, email, etc. Because you have to download the Cash App application. Then, in order to subscribe, let's say, or to enter into that application, you have to put your address, your number, your email, etc., your personal information. And if Keegan Klein was instructing the girls on how to do that, that was the way to obtain that information. And also remember that he was I lost my point here. So he was sending money to the victims, and also I have a gap in my mind. I have to come back to my previous video, but there was another way to obtain the address of the victims. So anyway, that's another story, right? Let's continue here, guys. Sorry for this. Okay, CJK, true cryptids families are always looked at first. Too many attack the girl families. My heart breaks for them. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Kimberly, it was said Abby had just broken up with her boyfriend. It was also said he and his family was Ron Logan's property for a party the night before. Yeah, I heard that also. And Garrett Kurtz was also in that party, allegedly. I don't know. Yeah, I think that I wouldn't say that Ron Logan is not part of this. I'm not gonna say he was the killer or he was part of the murders, let's say. But in my opinion, it is possible that he was a witness, at least a witness of the. He may. It was he was there. Maybe he watched or he observed the bodies. He panicked. I remember that he was like under the eyes of law enforcement at the time. I don't know. Maybe he knew something. I'm not saying he was part of the crime, but maybe he knew something. He could be like I don't know, like a witness of something going on his property, and he was just scared. Just a random thought again. Totally normal to rule out the people closest to any victims. 100%. Jenny, you said it. You back up with okay. Let's not gonna fight here, guys. Even me, sometimes I made wrong. I got wrong, so it's okay. Justice. I found lots of Delphi and Indiana and across country see some connections. Oh yeah, I know. Your channel is awesome, guys. Again, go to watch Justice channel. Is awesome. Yeah, the connections you made with another pedophiles in that area at the same time of the murders. It's freaking incredible. Your work is awesome. They all share the system with aggravating factors with small children and torture. Yeah. I said it was okay. Hey guys, stop fighting. CJK. I used to think that Keegan Klein possibly sold a phone loaded with sesame to Allen because Allen had so many phones. And that rumor sesame was found on his phone, but they may not have known each other. Yeah, that's possible. And when we think about Richard Allen on the trails, and he said he was looking at the stocks or something like that, I think that it was possible that he was actually talking to Keegan. And again, pure speculation based on the limited information we have here. But when you think about the Marathon gas station, when you think about the red Jeep, when you think about Richard Allen looking at the stocks on his phone at that time, to me, they were communicating in some way. So I don't think Richard Allen was looking at the stocks. He was maybe communicating with someone else, and most probably with Richard Allen, and with Keegan Klein. Let's say Keegan Klein was at the Marathon gas station, and after that communication, they met there. I know it's far-fetched for some of you guys, but for me, it makes sense. And Keegan was just selling that information to Richard Allen. He went to the Marathon gas station to pay for that information, maybe cash to avoid digital traceability, something like that, something in that sense. I'm not saying that's the actual situation, but something was happening there, some kind of communication between Allen and Keegan, and maybe Keegan was actually with or potentially with Tony Klein. Something happening there between the Kleins and Allen. Okay, you're still fighting. Come on, guys, calm. It's Friday. I'm in love. So, question for Cryptex. How do you become interested in the Delphi case? Look, I love true crime. I don't know if you know this channel. The name of the guy is Mike. His channel is called True Chapter, or That Chapter. The guy is awesome. He's from Scotland, I think. Yeah, he's a British guy. I think he's from Scotland. He's a huge YouTuber, and I think he made maybe just 2 episodes about Delphi. And when I watched the episode, he made about Delphi, I just get obsessed. I couldn't believe that the perpetrator was captured on camera, and the whole story we all know about that. And but the way he presented the video is awesome. That guy is awesome. It's that chapter. So I'm gonna put the video of that guy here, so that may, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who became obsessed after watching that video that was made by. Let's play it a little bit. Maybe it's gonna be cool. Delphi. So give me just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second to show you the guy I'm talking about. I'm a little bit slow with my. Okay, here. I think it's gonna work. Okay, this is Mike. That chapter.
To call and message Liberty again, but getting no answer.
Just 1 second.
America is a nation of detectives today, trying to identify the suspect in this photo and this voice.
13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German were best friends in the 8th grade at Delphi Community Middle School in Delphi, Indiana, a small Midwestern town consisting of fewer than 3,000 residents, known for its blue-collared workers, avid hunters and fishers, and the annual Delphi Bacon Festival, which sounds awesome. At 1:45 p.m. on February 13th, 2017, Abigail and Liberty were dropped off by Liberty's older sister Kelsey at an abandoned railway bridge, Manon High Bridge, where they planned to go hiking. Liberty's father Derek would pick them up later. There was no set time for the girls to return to their meeting point, and Derek would call them when he got there, which wouldn't be any more than 2 hours. At 3:11, about an hour and a half after the girls.
Anyway, this is Mike from that chapter, and I follow this guy. He's huge. He had like 2 million subscribers. It's crazy, and he's very charismatic. And the way he conducts the investigations or the true crime events or videos is awesome. He's really cool. You can check on that channel. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much again, Cosmic, for the donation. Oh my God, that's interesting. That's crazy. CJK, that's the most shocking part. The killer caught on camera, and it took years to make the arrest. But the video we've seen is not clear to discern much. If I zoom in, I do see a goatee like Allen had. Yeah, exactly. It's so blurry, so pixelated. It's really, yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes that videos, I don't know what to say. It created more damage than, I don't know. I'm not gonna go there, but yeah. Because everyone was watching that was confirmation bias. If in your mind the killer was Ron Logan, you saw Ron Logan in that video. Me, I was convinced that Keegan Klein, at one point I was convinced that Keegan Klein was the killer, and I was able to see Keegan Klein in that image of Bridge Guy. And it's the same right today that we are talking about Richard Allen. A lot of people say that, oh, it's perfect. That image matches Richard Allen. But guys, for real. No one can say that that image matches anyone. At the best, at the best, that image looks a little bit like the old bridge guy sketch, which is secondary today. So what the fuck? You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand my point. Uh, Julian still talking to Jenny about crime night. Come on, guys, calm down. Um, CJK, I read something once that Snapchat can pixelate more. Something no, come on. Pixelation is just I don't know. Remember that they said that they sent the video to NASA and Disney. They couldn't do anything with that, and now is I love Harvey. What's the name of this guy? Harvey Carroll. I actually love him, but this digital enhancement or enhancement. Oh, Farmer's here. Sorry, man, I didn't see you. Hey, how are you, Farmer? Sorry, I just saw you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you so well. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, Cryptex. I'm glad to see you on tonight. Haven't been here in a while. Actually, I've never been on your show, but I woke up from a nap. I saw you were on, and I'm absolutely thrilled because it was a boring Friday night until I saw you. So I'm very glad.
I'm so happy to have you here, man. So cool.
You know, as you're going over the sort of the kind of, I think you're kind of providing a loose outline tonight of the of the case itself. How do you feel about part of my theory, what I call the Derek Farmer theory? As you guys may or may not know, I believe, until proven otherwise, that Richard Allen is both sketches in terms of he looks like Old Bridge Guy sketch. And in my opinion, the only way he wasn't questioned or messed with for a couple of years until 2019 was that he provided the information for Young Bridge Guy sketch. He indeed is both sketches, like Doug Carter said. If you hold them both up, let them fall away, what you have behind them is the person responsible for the death of Libby and Abby. Now, he didn't say combine them to look alike. He just said combine them. And when I do that in my head, I'm combining them. And Richard Allen via a BB, who we'll just use initials, because I'm a bit suspect of that witness situation, because she was the lone witness for Young Bridge Guy sketch, which was actually drawn first by the sketch artist for the Indiana State Police. So how is that a clerical error, Cryptex? I ask you and everyone else that I go on a show with. Go ahead.
No, I understand the way your brain works, man, and I respect that. But in my opinion, the sketch, it doesn't look at all like Richard Allen. And, the old Bridge Guy sketch and the young Bridge Guy sketch, or the combination, whatever. When I put all the scenarios, only the OBG, the YBG, the combination of them, and then I put Richard Allen right to them, next to them, I don't see any resemblance. It doesn't look at all, in my opinion, to those sketches. I understand if you see some similarity, right? And I respect that. But in my opinion, it doesn't look like them. And again, I think Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, but the sketches, in my opinion, they're not relevant to say or to conclude. Let's say that he was Bridge Guy. In my opinion, they don't look at all to Richard Allen. But I understand your point and I respect it. But you ask, I answer. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, and I'm not stuck to it. I mean, honestly, I've drifted away from it, but I have come back to it since I realized that I'm not 100% clear on the witness for Young Bridge Guy sketch and how solid they are in terms of honesty and did they know each other. There are so many small town connections to be made here. I think,
for sure.
when you start looking at church connections, familial, generational connections in these small towns. I'm from an area that has a lot of small towns around it, very much like Indiana. I get the vibe. Um, to me, I am starting to very much feel as if there has always been some kind of back force helping out the hand of the murderer. Whether they helped murder the girls or not, I don't know. Um, but there is something going on in the background, in my opinion, that is obfuscating the truth in this case. I don't understand, like many don't, how you go to a law enforcement officer, put yourself there at the time of the crime in the clothes, and aren't even questioned for 2 fucking years. Excuse my language on your channel. But it doesn't make sense to me as a human being, let alone someone who would consider themselves a decent web sleuth. Go ahead.
No, no, I agree. Don't apologize about your language. I feel the same. I, I actually agree with you 100%. What do you think about a one love? Do you think there's just one perpetrator here, or there are multiple actors? And what do you think about the Keegan Klein potential connection here? What's your take about it?
I mean, to me, it would be too much of a coincidence. I would be channeling Bruce McGuire if I said that these coincidences didn't start adding up. I mean, when you look at the Marathon gas station search, and by the way, I don't know if you know this or not. I mean, I did a little research on that was one of the first gas stations in the country, and the first 1,200 gas stations in the entire country that had a Bitcoin ATM, as far as my research went. Now, I wasn't there, I didn't see it, and I did even I called that actual gas station and asked the clerk, when did you get rid? Because he said he didn't have one. But that was not something that was around very much in 2017. So if that's true, I think it's noteworthy. Also, the previous owners of that gas station have a name in town that's local that I'm not going to put out there because, quite frankly, I don't remember it right now, but it is a local family. They owned it. It used to be called Shell on the Hill. And the son of those owners ran with some of the players that have been named around Keegan Klein. Now, I don't know if that ties in at all, but I thought it was odd that the owner of the gas station's son was a friend of theirs and kind of running in their circles, if what I gleaned was correct. But you know how getting information from, say, social media accounts or something that's not basically a fact in a newspaper or on, you know what I mean? You gotta preface with, maybe it wasn't that way, but I did read that. Yeah, go ahead. I don't know if you've ever heard that or not, but
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And yeah, you're right. Again, we are working with a limited information, and that limited information, we don't know what is a fact, what is not a fact. But at the end, we have our brains. We are able to connect some dots. What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? What is like a conspiracy shit? What is a potential plausible theory? So to me, the Keegan Klein situation here is he's involved 100%, in my opinion. Again, in this crime, but yeah, let's wait for the process, man. Let's see. I think that there's a possibility that Keegan Klein is actually working with law enforcement. He may be just a snitch, and I don't know, man. That's my feeling. What do you think about the red jeep statement? Do you think that's bullshit, or
well,
what do you think about that?
what you mean when he told his cellmate that he was in the red Jeep and that he waited while the crime is committed, then helped them clean it up? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the thing is that that was in the Murder Sheet podcast that was released there. The situation was that Keegan Klein was waiting on a red jeep while someone else was committing the crime, and
Yeah.
that someone else was allegedly Tony Klein. So, and you know that Keegan Klein is right now putting Tony Klein under the bus in this situation. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think that a broken clock is right twice a day. I think that even liars always try to weave in a bit of their own truthful narrative to make sure that they can kind of stitch along like a sewing needle their little, game and lie. So, yeah, I don't think it's out of the question that he was there, that he helped with the cleanup. Absolutely not. I mean, they took him to the Air Force Base for for a lie detector test. Now, I don't know if that's because the previous lie detector lady was murdered in a house fire with her daughter, or if they wanted to get him out of a state situation because the feds weren't necessarily comfortable with the state doing it. I really don't know. Those are all kind of back channel things that we, the public, just aren't going to know. But I do wonder why Grissom Air Force Base, instead of a state-run facility, but that's I guess neither here nor there. I'm just reading this. Yeah, Hiawatha BB was the witness for young bridge guy's sketch. And hi Don, by the way, I did see you say hi. I just don't. Here's the thing, okay? On Sleuth's Discord, and I'm not talking bad about. I love Sleuth, you guys know that, and I love the Discord. But there's another creator in there who we get.
Armand,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go for a drink. I will let you talk.
Okay,
Just 1 minute.
sure.
You can continue.
Thank you, Cryptex. I blabber on endlessly, but in that Discord, I mean, when I started looking at what kind of vehicle she drove, what KG Kelsey said during that radio interview that she gave to her alma mater in 2020 about regretting the most that day not paying attention to the dark colored SUV. I do need to make that distinction. Sleuth did correct me on that because I said there's a big difference between black SUV and dark SUV, or black Suburban and dark SUV. So that, with that point being made, though, that was in 2020. My point is, if the 2019 presser was then to shake the rug, so this other creator sort of had me convinced of, then why not let the family know that, unless they're suspects, so they're not literally regretting the moment the most, that the police could actually step in and go, hey, don't worry, but that was a witness. That black Suburban was BB. But instead, they just let Kelsey hang out there and have it be her worst part of the entire day. I just don't buy that. I think what they're doing, to me, it feels like even, and people can praise law enforcement all they want, and I love cops and blah blah blah, and they do great work. But in my opinion, they have fucked this case up since the beginning. Bottom line, I mean, I'm done making excuses for a law enforcement team that isn't honest with the public. One, two, if you're not going to be honest with the public, have a plausible plan that's getting the guilty party. They haven't had that in 7 years. Now they have one person in prison. I'd like to take a poll. How many people out there truly believe that there was no post facto or premeditation in terms of somebody else helping them with this crime? What does the data say from that data server at their house the night before they left? And for that matter, every other server that they were on. Who the frick were they talking to? Cryptex is back. He's well watered. Go ahead, man.
No. I was just listening to Jenny. She was funny, and I didn't get your point. I was at the kitchen. Sorry for that, farmer. But anyway,
No.
Can you tell us about at the time you were working with the ski mask theory or something like that? Can you tell us about that? That was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, you guys are probably, most of you are familiar with Aspen Connor from It's a Crime Meaning Shame, Sonny's show, Sonny Justice. I did a show with him. I had gone on a show with Sleuth. He did an insomnia show, and I don't usually drink, honestly, Cryptex, anymore. I used to drink heavy, but I kind of.
That's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, that night I sort of fell off the wagon, anyways, and had a few drinks, and by the time I got off Sleuths channel, and you can't even get that show because he was playing music and it got, struck down. But right at 3 a.m, I get an email from Aspen. He's like, "I'm bored. Let's go live." I said, "Okay, man, I'm still up. Half in the bag." I realized that a couple days later, people keep asking me questions like, "Wow, how did you get Aspen to say that big piece of information?" And I didn't even know what they were talking about. Apparently, and I went back and looked. Here's the deal with the ski mask incident. Some people question, is it even real? Because no one can seem to find a police report on this incident. Now, the incident itself played out like this. The place where Libby, not Abby, but Libby was having a sleepover. Those friends of hers, and I won't say their name, I'd have to look it up anyways, but it's kind of an odd family situation with the girls she was friends with. Like, she was kind of adopted by what appeared to be furries. Is that okay to say? As furries isn't like a bad term, I hope. People that like to put on like fur, whatever. I don't know, not my thing. But I'm not judging. Anyways, they seem kind of odd. I saw a video once with a family in it. Beside the point. So at that sleepover, she was introduced by this girl who lived there to Anthony Schott's profile, who of course had the picture of the hot Alaska cop, Mr. Sexy Pants. Mr. Sexy Pants, who, by the way, later on said anybody that's getting catfish now deserves what they get. You remember that came from the Alaska cop. That guy has no morals and should be fired for that statement, in my opinion. But so he's not a nice guy, in my opinion, Mr. Hot Cop. But back to the ski mask incident. So then all of a sudden you have this connection made between Anthony Schatz and Libby, and that supposedly was the crux of where they met through that person. Now, the part that came out in that interview with Aspen that nobody knew was that the person that was Keegan and Dirk Hayes' roommate, whose name starts with a C, was dating Ski Mask Girl. So the person that that they hooked up as the Anthony Schatz profile. I mean, it is that muddied up here, and not just that, but according to Aspen, who had sources, and I don't mind saying that he said it out loud. Not only that, but they lived together in Vegas afterwards. So there's this third sort of roommate. Now, we know that when they went to Vegas, they went to see an ex-law enforcement officer who was a friend of Tony Klein's. We know it was only, I mean, to me, it felt like they rushed out of town to get rid of something. I know that's how everyone else feels. I also feel that it could have been a snuff film or some kind of sexual content on a device, something like that. Nobody in their right mind believes that you're going to drive states away to hook up on Craigslist for weed that's legal. And weed is legal in Nevada. First of all, you could just go to a dispensary and probably buy what you want out the back there. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous shit. And then he says, "Oh man, I'm effed." You remember when he said that? He goes, "I knew I should have left town right away because I'm effed after they did the first search warrant." This guy is up to his ass in this thing. He knows exactly what's going on, in my opinion. And I think he's a rat. There's nobody. Keegan's not going to serve anyone but himself. That's it. Okay, he's a liar. He's a rat. He's not the kind of person that would ever stand up for anyone and do the right thing. So that's the kind of shit that you're dealing with. And yeah, he's not talking to his dad, according to what I read, because he was basically blaming his dad for quite a lot of things. But that's what I feel about that ski mask incident, and it was reported on the news. So, I mean, that gives it more validity. It's not as if it was a rumor, but is there a police report on it? Nobody knows. No one can find one. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hog the microphone.
No. It's the opposite. It's really interesting. Continue. That was really awesome, man. And but at the end, conclusion. Do you think that that incident or that event was real or not?
I do. I do think it was real. Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
believe it because, first of all, like I said, I mean, I think the police will let the news probably say some things if it helps out their case. But that's an awful big story to make up and get out there in the public if it's just totally made up. I mean, you've got a lot of working parts and people and parts of the citizenry now that have to back up your lie basically as law enforcement. How can they trust some white trash family that dresses in fur to do that? I don't think so. I just don't think so. I think it's a true story. I think that because they were minors, they could probably keep it off the news somehow. You know,
Mhm.
they're all
Yeah,
under,
right.
at the time, they were all under 18. My question really is, if, you know, this girl introduced Libby to Anthony Shots, was she directed to introduce them, or did she do that on her own accord? Do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
She was directed, then that would start tying things together on that side. I do think somehow they're connected, but that doesn't mean they are. That's only an opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember now that you are talking about that. Do you remember this guy, a young YouTuber, true crime bloke?
Is that the guy that turned into is that the like Australia guy or something like? No, no,
I
no.
don't-
No, I do.
British
I do, yeah.
British guy, because I think he did an interview with her, something like that. He contacted the girl, the ski mask girl at the time. I that's something in my mind right now, but uh, he's not here anymore. I don't know what happened to him. He disappeared. At
I
one time, he was really active in this community, in the Delphi true crime community, and
yeah,
he just disappeared like that. I don't know what happened.
Doug Carter has him in his basement right now.
What?
No, I said Doug Carter has captured him and has him in his basement right now.
Maybe.
No, I do remember true.
Or Keegan.
Or yeah, Keegan. Keegan would have already eaten him, unfortunately. Yeah, I do remember that true crime bloke, and if I remember right, he was a pretty solid guy, you know. But I don't remember exactly that he talked to Ski Mask Girl. I would like to see that. I do remember that the girl that
I think he did a collaboration with Fig Solves,
yeah,
and I don't know if they. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they contacted that girl.
I love Big to death, but that's the person that, you know, in the Discord that we all respect, that convinced me that that 2019 presser was merely to shake the rug, and I just have to question that at this point again, because I know law enforcement can lie and they may even twist something up to get an answer or shake the rug. But again, when you look at the family spaces as they announce this new looking bridge guy who literally looks less than half the age with a big blonde curly head of hair, they start bawling their eyes out. It is torture for the family, by the way. And that's because for 2 years they thought they had what looked like to be the killer as the sketch. And now suddenly you're telling me that that's not. And by the way, now they can say that that's the same person, but that is not what they said for a couple years, including whatever the Holman or whatever his name is there from and the local guy too, Jerry Nadler, or what a frick that guy's name is. They said that Old Bridge Guy sketch is no longer considered a person of interest and should become secondary. That's exactly what they said, and they didn't correct that. So I'm not sure now how Doug Carter can sit in front of a microphone and act as if the entire time he was saying, "Oh no, 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 no. We meant that they have similarities in the way they look." But that's bullshit.
Exactly. That's
I
my
just
point.
I
Same here.
it's just ridiculous.
Of course. Totally. 100% with you, man. There's so much confusion here, man.
And
Those segments were crazy.
and that whole yellow U-boat thing, you know, I mean, I studied that a little bit when that came out. To me, that stands separately from the other, you know, because keep in mind, originally this was called the Snapchat murders,
Yeah, at the beginning.
first name for it. So why would a name like that get out into the public unless somehow it was tied with Snapchat? Now, what is tied with Snapchat at the time? At the time, that would be Yellow Yubo. And if you chose to opt into the Yellow Yubo section of the Snapchat app, you got it for free and it would automatically sync up your contacts, okay, with other people's contacts in your circle. And
Mhm.
and then on top of that, you can log in anonymously, and then on top of that, there's a live tracking feature. So if you
Yeah.
don't have that, if you don't have that live tracking feature turned off, you're literally anyone in your circle can bring up as a little yellow dot where you're walking in real time. Why is he looking at stock quotes when he's watching little yellow dots, in my opinion?
Yeah, exactly. And that application was not uh, as restricted as the other ones, as let's say Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat. People were just video chatting with other people. You could be naked and talking to. It was not any restriction
Yeah.
there. So and remember that Carter went to France to talk to the people there managing that application. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. I mean, he said they did have a search warrant for that company. Now, that doesn't mean anything in France, unfortunately. If you know anything about France, the last thing they like are foreign nationals coming in and telling them how to run their country. So whether or not they got that information is still a question. Was it fruitful? We don't know. They're not bound by the same set of laws that America is. So
Yeah. Were you here at the beginning of the live or not?
no, I literally just when I said hi and sent in the super sticker that I had just woken up from a nap. I hate.
Thank you so much for that, man.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
no problem. I was thrilled to be able to do it. I mean, I'm one of these people. If I got it, I give it. I mean, I believe in giving to the talent, not the middleman. You know, I don't even pay a cable company anymore. I think that the talent on YouTube and some of these other I haven't really explored it much. I hear a lot about Patreon and other things. I sort of like the a la carte method of picking out what I like. You
Yeah.
know, uh, I mean, I've had cable recently, maybe in the last few years, and I could literally look at every single channel and not want to watch one thing. So,
Mhm.
and you're paying for that crap. It's like you could just go right on YouTube, and then you're sitting. I'm going to presume that's your basement. I see that 70s paneling on the wall there, Cryptex. You probably got a little little bong behind you or something there, probably in your 70s room. And I'd rather give you $5 than some conglomerate cable company who doesn't give a shit about me or this community or really doing any justice for people like Libby and other things you do. I found that show you did where you went into that tunnel system or whatever, man. I was on the edge of my seat for that whole thing. You didn't love it. I could tell you hated that live. And for me, that was super exciting. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it again. And coming back to to my question at the beginning, what I started this streaming or this live uh, talking about Katy Allen, and in my opinion, and I made my argument or my points. Why do I think she wouldn't be blamed about she being silent uh, about Richard Allen? What do you think about that? Uh, what what's your take?
Mm, that's a tough one because I actually have a personal stake in that, not with this case in particular, but where I grew up on Elcott Street in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the neighbor across the street was a serial killer, and my mom was the godmother to his children.
Mhm.
His name is Brian Sugrum, Sugrim. They made a Dateline NBC about it, and you can look that up online if you'd like. But um, I did glean, something from that, and when you apply it to the Kathy Allen situation, I'd have to say that through my experience, she had a pretty good gut. Not literally, we won't go there because that's a cheap shot. But she had a good gut when it came to what her odd husband was up to. I don't see how the most intimate person in your life, your lover, your wife, your confidant, your whatever, could not know deep down that you were up to some nefarious shit. I don't know. I feel like at the very least, if you didn't know exactly what someone was up to, you would know that something is indeed up. So, but should she be blamed or not? It depends on her fear level. I know in the situation with the serial killer that lived across the street from me, that she was very much in fear. This guy was he was pretty brutal. I mean, he was an MMA fighter, so this is not somebody that was, a weakling by any means. And he did things like beat the family dog to death in front of him to let him know that could be you. So these are all things that came out afterwards. Of course, we wouldn't have been friends with somebody that we knew was doing stuff like that. But when I saw the detectives high five each other after they found a knife in his fire pit out back, I knew his goose was cooked, and he currently resides for the rest of his life in a prison cell where he belongs.
No, I understand your take. I disagree. I think that there are some elements that we have to consider in that scenario. First of all, let's start by the video. It's really blurry. As we were talking before, we can match the image of this video with the old Bridge guy sketch, and that sketch is totally different, in my opinion, to Richard Allen. So if I'm Katy Allen, this is not my husband.
Sure.
Then we have the Sergeant Riley saying that the Bridge guy he doesn't have blue eyes, and Richard Allen he has blue eyes. So if I'm Katy Allen, so I'm gonna discard my husband because he has blue eyes, and law enforcement is telling me that Bridge guy he doesn't have blue eyes. Again, the mannerism. I don't know.
I was going to ask really quick: was that law enforcement or a witness that said the blue eyes? I know they might have related to us.
It was, but Sergeant Riley he said that on the news.
Okay.
I don't know if he just retake the statement of a witness or something like that, but he went on the news to say that. So I can play again this for you. But anyway,
go ahead.
He said that on the news, so on a press conference. I'm just trying to. I'm gonna play this. Just 1 second, man. Here.
Okay, cool.
If you have, you're okay with that?
Absolutely, man. I'm on your show. You do it however you want to do it, man. I appreciate.
Oh, come on! This is our show. It's not my show. And I'm not gonna be repetitive because I actually did the. So I think it was the. Okay, 40 seconds. Okay, give me just 1 second here, man. Have problems here. Okay. I'm gonna be there soon.
I agree, CJK. I'm reading what you're saying about his eyes right now. I mean, I did see a photo where they weren't necessarily like Nazi, blue, excuse German reference. But rather more of a grayish sort of hazel. I guess, though, why make such a strong point that they could be any color besides blue? They're definitely not blue, when clearly in that one picture, they do appear to be a bit blue, so I just think it was a bad thing to say. Maybe that was just a mistake on law enforcement, like letting that out, but to speculate again, I feel like at that level, when you're that far into this kind of case, every little word you're letting out into the media is being metered by press relations. Doug Carter isn't the detective on the case. He's the mouthpiece. He's the microphone for the Indiana State Police, So I just feel like why let that kind of information out unless it means something? But again, I don't know their motivation behind it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna play the videos. It's gonna be a couple of seconds.
Yep.
The person was not clear on the color of the eyes, but the person said it was definitely not blue. She was the person was very obvious that it was not blue eyes, but they did mention that they were not clear on which color it was. He said that. So that creates a little bit of confusion, If you are Richard Allen's wife, sorry.
Yeah.
Why do I have an echo here? I don't know. You can hear me well now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so that is not it's not gonna play well for I don't know, for the people who thinks maybe like you, let's say that Katy Allen should yeah, I don't know, come forward about that. Anyway, there were a lot of weird or confusing statements here. The blue eyes, again, the video was not clear. They said that they released all the bridge guy sketch, which in my opinion it doesn't look at all like Richard Allen. The mannerism, the audio. We have a short audio sample, but to me it doesn't sound like Richard Allen. Maybe it's confirmation bias, whatever. And again, I think Richard Allen is bridge guy, but I wouldn't be able to blame Katy Allen for being silent. And remember that Richard Allen he he contacted law enforcement. He said I was there on on the 13th at the trails.
Right.
So that's my point.
Yeah, and
But I understand also your
sure.
thinking.
I mean, I think those are valid points, and if I'm the defense, I'm keying into the fact that they said definitely not blue eyes. If my client has blue eyes, I'm definitely bringing that up in court and saying, clearly that's not what the witness saw. So, I mean, they're gonna have plenty of opportunity to defend the fact that he wasn't bridge guy. But again, I mean, I haven't seen the transcript with Doolin because hell, we don't even know if there is one, honestly, right? I mean, we don't know if they accidentally lost that, like they seem to have lost so many of these early interviews. Because maybe they didn't have the money to buy a new tape and they had to rewind over it. I mean, what is this, a McDonald's? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I would like to read that statement, man, from Doolin. Such a mystery, huh? What the fuck? That's crazy, man.
It makes me think that he's in on it. I mean, who doesn't want to say it? I mean, I'll say it right out loud. How do you, as a law enforcement officer, you have to have some kind. Okay, he's a conservation officer. Granted, that's a forest cop. That's a forest cop. Keep in mind, a forest cop saved my life in a situation where I was with a serial sex offender in a dark forest. They do have instinct and they do have overriding power. They're essentially state police officers because they work for a state land conservancy. They're armed. They're always armed. They have sidearms. So I'm not sure if this guy has no sense of being a law enforcement officer in terms of intuition. But how do you interview someone like that says everything that he supposedly says and then never mention that you talk to somebody like that to the other law enforcement officers? Like, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. It's something is stinky, and it's bad. Something stinks, man.
I agree. Something stinks here, man. 100%.
And and I don't know how all the little working parts work, but that guy's had some other shit looked at, and I ain't gonna say it because I don't know what I'm talking about. There's there's a lot of connections in these small towns. That's all of us.
Yeah. Other than the Kleins, do you think that, or what other? Sorry, my dog is kind of anxious.
I have one too.
Yeah, but your dog is calm. Mine is crazy, man. Other than the Kleins, do you have any other actor in mind? Someone who could be part of this?
Well, I mean, listen, we're gonna have to rule out Ron Logan. I mean, for a long time you go, how does this? Was he involved? Did he help with the crime? I don't think so, but I wasn't there. We still have some kind of phone pinging to talk about. I mean, maybe that FBI chick that drew up the warrant on him from the office in Atlanta. Again, she's gonna draw that warrant up based on just what her what she's learned in school. Basically, it wasn't as if she was on scene and developing that as a lead. She was never on scene. The person that wrote that warrant, she was in their main office in Indianapolis, actually, and for Indiana is in Indianapolis. The I don't know what the FBI people on the scene, one, why there were even FBI on the scene so quickly. Why was federal law enforcement in the Delphi area on the same day they went missing? That's odd to me, but that's beside the point. Who else? I mean, there's a ton of rabbit hole, ideas through the years I've had. Somebody knew that RA was involved on 4chan. Somebody appears to have known on YouTube when you look at that piece that was up in the Discord where a few days before RA was arrested, you have this whole cryptic creation of an account where someone says, he's getting ready to throw them under the bus as if there are other people involved. So there are all these, and then on 4chan, there was something years before he was arrested that says everyone knows Ricky did it, and stuff like that. So somebody in that community, I'm sorry, but they've been operating behind the scenes, out of sight from all of us for this entire time. And I don't know if they're getting a good laugh out of it amongst themselves, going, man, we're really keeping the rest of the country guessing on this one. But there are people that know what ring of bullshit down there these girls got caught up in, and they're just not saying because they're afraid, they're narcissists, or they're plain evil. I don't know which, but none of those are acceptable as a human being, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna take advantage of your presence here, man. Let's talk about the Odinism. What do you think about that? The sticks randomly placed on the girls, or just something was going on? What do you think about that situation here, man?
Just go back to what I've said. He said there were, I believe the phrase was 3 to 4 signatures found, and that it would be something you would want to take a photograph of.
Yeah.
That's an odd statement to me. Who in their right mind wants to take a photograph of 2 dead girls? So it's something with the scene that is so odd. Now, does that involve Odinus and ruins? I've heard plenty of so-called Odin experts to say those runes don't mean anything, or they're not meaningful in that way, in a way that would be have anything to do with that. So I don't know. I mean, I do know there are people out there that think if they speak to some odd Viking god and chant and grow armpit hair, if you're female, and probably shave it off if you're male. Who knows? I don't know what these weirdos are up to. I don't like them. I think Odinist is already a skeptical name. Like, once you call yourself an Odinist, I feel like you're already marginalizing half the community. Like, don't talk to me. I'm an Odinist. It's not as if you're going out and welcoming yourself and, hello, we're a loving family of Odinists. No, it's always like a rebel flag and fuck you, I'm an Odinist. So these aren't friendly people. Now, I think that anyone that's wrapped up in illegal activity that wants to self-preserve would be able to kill or willing to kill for it. Absolutely. Especially if it involved drugs that they already had a record for, and one more strike in Indiana might send them away for the rest of their life, just as long as a murder would.
Actually, when I hear the term Odinism, to me, it looks mostly like a Pacific term. They are connected to the nature. I don't relate Odinism with violence. I know that a lot of skinheads and supremacist groups, they have Odinist persons there.
Right.
But to me, it's like someone that is really connected to the nature. I don't know. It's mostly like a Pacific thing, in my opinion. They
I've
are like,
I've never seen a black Odinist. I mean, let's call it for what it is, Cryptex. I mean,
yeah, but what is Odinism? What is the source of the Odinism, or geographically, let's say, is Swedish, Finland, is that Nordic countries?
Sure.
All of them are white and blonde. It's normal. So, and I'm not a racist person. I'm a Latino guy. So for sure. But I understand that they're not black people
They want to
praising Odin or Zeus or something like that. It's normal. It's just a geographical situation.
Yeah,
They,
yeah, okay. I
they,
mean, I get that. You know, there's
it,
probably
it's a
not a lot
Nordic.
of
It's a Nordic
Swedish folks that
country.
are
You know.
celebrating. Either you or I lost audio, Crip. I don't know if it was you or me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, there it went. I'm sorry. I don't know. It clicked off for a minute.
No worry.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you're some racist. You could be like a Wiccan type that's very much into pagan nature, and that's all kind of fine with me. I mean, this is America. Believe what you want until it affects somebody else or their property. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the right to do that. But again, I mean, I'm wondering. You say, you know, of course they're from that part of the country, but you know, if I'm a transplant from Africa, maybe I want to join up. I don't know how willing they are to let me in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just seems to me that if you're a club that's exclusively, I don't know, it's so exclusive of a club that at the end of the day, I mean, there just can't be anything good. To me, there just can be nothing good that comes out of that when you're celebrating. I don't know. To me, it's just not right. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, I understand your point. But at the end, you think that there's some kind of sacrifice scenario here, or not at all? What do you think about that?
It doesn't wash with me, the sacrifice scenario. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I see a revenge scenario.
Me too.
I see I mean, of the scenarios, I see a sexually, you know, motivated scenario. Any of those, but sacrifice for a religious purpose, that'd be the one that would, to me, say it's staged. I want to make it look like this, but it's something else. You know. And then what was the other word that I've used? Staged, but also even more than staged. It was well, anyways, I can't think of the exact term, but it would indicate two separate things. Signature. Oh, well, that was it. Signatures and staging. I mean, those are separate, you know, as far as law enforcement is concerned, traits of a murder scene. So, you know, to separate those two, I think are important. So you have staging, which would be to fake the scene, which would then make us think about, if we're going to talk about that really quick, what do you think? Let me ask you, Cryptex. Let me see here from my notes.
Farmer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Read this comment and answer to Cleo, please.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, hi. Hi, Cleo. My name is Derek Farmer. I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm a pizza guy. I've delivered pizzas for 35 years, and I do enjoy web sleuthing a little bit. I enjoy metal detecting and amateur broadcasting a little bit, which is what I consider myself, an amateur broadcaster. I think it's important because a lot of people have gone to college to do this, which is why I don't require money. But I enjoy getting on here and talking to people like Cryptex who are part of their community. You can tell that we're real people. You know, I want to make sure that I'm the same person on both sides of the microphone. I think Cryptex feels the same way. And that's important, I think, in a landscape where so many things could just be kind of created out of thin air, you know, to be able to feel like you're talking to a real person. I want to represent a real human. And I hope you're doing well tonight.
That was my mistake. I didn't introduce you, Farmer. Thank you for that.
Well, I don't know if I'm worthy of even having an introduction, but
yeah, for sure you are.
But mostly what I enjoy doing, I like personally, I like to interview everyone's favorite web sleuths. I don't personally feel like I'm good at solving. I mean, I don't know how many of us take seriously the fact that we're solving crimes, or I feel more like we're keeping people's names relevant and possibly putting some things up that are very interesting. But I feel like law enforcement's always going to sort of have a back channel or back alley to what's really going on, you know, and they're not ever going to really tell us unless we happen to be one of them. You know, they're as exclusionary as criminals are.
I think it would be very arrogant to say that we are going to be able to solve a crime. I think we are here to ask questions, to connect some dots, to fill some gaps, but to say that we are smart enough to solve a crime without even having all of the totality of the information here, that's just stupid, man. Yeah, 100% with you here.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much we can do about it, but honestly, speculate. Well, but beyond that, I think what this forum sort of provides, what I'm finding, is when you say connections, it makes positive connections. I mean, there are so many people that I mean, before I did this, I went on Sleuth Show about maybe 2 years ago. I wouldn't even talk to anyone online because I'm old and I just thought it was all fake BS. Like you can't trust anyone. Well, really, what happens is you end up meeting real people. Well, people like Don Spain or Hiawatha. I mean, granted, Don's probably using his name, like I use my name, but I'm pretty sure Hiawatha has a different name. But who cares? My point is that represents a real human being, and those human beings have helped me through some of the shittiest times in my life. So why am I not going to give an internet, with air quotes, friend, the same due respect that I would give a flesh and blood human right next to me? So starting out with a base like that, I just say everyone deserves respect off the bat. It's up to you to whittle it away. You don't have to earn respect. Earning respect is for the mafia. Okay. You should start out with respect and lose it as you go along. And that's how I look at life. And I'm proud to be on here and that anyone's even wants to hear what my fat mouth has to say.
No, super. And guys, if you are interested in real people here in this community, good people, go to Farmer's channel and subscribe to him. It's one of the real McCoy here, and I'm so glad to have you here because, man, we were talking like I don't know 6 months ago, trying to get this thing done, and
I had a little meltdown. Yeah, I had a little meltdown, Cryptex. We can talk about it if you want. I mean, I go through it sometimes. I look at some of these families that we talk about and like they lose their children and they lose their wives or whoever that they love, and I haven't had to deal. I mean, I've been around it. I've had my own kind of traumatic experiences, but I have not dealt with that. And I've lost people from cancer and this and that, but I've never lost anyone so traumatically, so quickly like that. So I do try to always kind of keep that in the back of my mind if that's the kind of show that we're having. I oftentimes, I like the history of my town. I like to do shows about that. So I kind of am more a variety show. I think, I even did like an auction, which I feel terrible. I'll send that stuff out. I promise I really will. So just like different little things, like I said, I like to metal detect, so I can like interject clips of that if I ever find anything worthwhile. And again, there are so many mysteries. I like a good mystery, and so when you talk about a murder case, I don't bounce around a lot. Like Cryptex, I don't know about you, but I'm not looking for the hot new murder case to pick up until the last one I was working on is solved. Like this is not done yet. And until then, I mean, I do want to do a show on the Flora 4. I promise that because I don't think that gives nearly the coverage, that it should. It wasn't quite as a traumatic of a murder, and I don't mean that their lives weren't as tragically cut off as Delphi. What I mean is, I don't think the person that started out that night said, "I'm going to kill 4 girls." But in Indiana, that's murder too, because the result of the felony you committed resulted in the death of 4 little girls, and you are eligible for the death penalty, and you should be. But I do make a distinction between that, which seems to be for greed and not really caring about other humans and what happens to them, if they die or not, and starting out your day to go stab to death 2 girls. Okay, there is a distinction. So it's at least in terms of what that person's modus operandi would be going forward, because one is going to be like, okay, you got to watch out. Now, was the Flora fire, was that by somebody that is a arsonist who gets off on lighting fires? That I don't know. There's just not as much known about that. And it's just as mysterious to me. And there are a lot of shady characters around that case too, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, and I have to confess that I'm kind of ignorant about Flora, and I would like to explore more about that.
Let me
Uh,
ask you.
yeah.
Let me just ask you quickly. I mean, do you see a conflict here when the person that was in charge of putting out the fire is also on the town council, and then when they go to investigate that person, the person that is investigating him is his father from the state fire inspection services. So you have a father investigating a son in the same county where this took place. That stinks of corruption. They all resigned around the same time with Ives. I don't think the Ives resignation had to do with Delphi. I think it had to do with Flora.
uh, that sounds makes sense, man. As I was telling you, I'm ignorant. I don't know anything, almost anything about Flora.
Call them like I see
I
them.
was talking to some of my subscribers about that. There are some weird theories about one of the firefighters. I don't know if you know about that. That he wanted to be like the hero guy here, and he was like
Hmm. Is that me? Did Cryptex freeze up for everybody or just me?
no. I think my internet
Okay.
is not very well right now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
mine's
uh,
not. Mine's not well either. That's why I'm asking. I got the slow poor person's internet right now, but I do have the Ethernet line plugged in. So
yeah. So my point was that there's like a theory uh, in the air. Let's say that one of the firefighters or the people in the one of the big guys involved in that fighter department was maybe creating those fires to go there and like
be a hero.
be the hero, you know. And I know I have the name of the guy, but I maybe
Yeah,
that's bullshit. But I don't know if you heard something about it or just a theory. I don't know.
I heard that theory. If we're talking about the firefighter that was on scene first, again, I didn't say his name. It's your show. You're welcome to do what you want. I'm pretty careful about that stuff unless they're publicly announced.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
Only because if they did have something to do with it, I don't want to screw it. I don't want to do anything to screw it up for prosecuting them. Um, as far as I'm concerned, somebody in that position should be used to being questioned by the public and by people in our position because they have taken on a position of public trust. And when you take on a position of public trust and the public doesn't trust you, you have a right to be questioned.
Hmm. No, no.
And
I actually I don't have too much to say about it because I don't have
that
any
and
information. I have to dig into that.
yeah, well, 2 months before the fire, they took out a new fire insurance policy on a house that was appraised by Becky Patty's company for $48,000, and they cashed a check 2 months later, just under $400,000. So the insurance company certainly had a reason to check. They did, and they called it arson.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, man. That I have to read about it again. I I don't have any relevant information or opinion to say about it because
Well,
sadly I'm ignorant about it. But yeah, I have to educate myself. In that case, is really important in my opinion.
yeah, and I'm the same way, and I have been trying to, and I promised a show a long time ago about it, but until I want to make sure that I'm, doing justice to those four girls, Kiana, Kiara, Kiriel, and I can never remember the fourth name. So if anyone can help me, put it in chat. Kiana, Kiara, Kiriel, and damn it, I'm so sorry, sweetheart, I forgot your name, but um, Lynn, you're right. Lynn, GMB. Nice to see you, by the way, again. It's been a while since I saw your name out there. Yeah, they didn't know about it, Dennis Rader's family, and there's a pretty good chance that RA's family, if he's the killer, which we don't know, it's not been through court. I think again, I'm like Cryptex. I do believe he's Bridge guy. What part he took in the murders? I mean, I'm hoping that's the part that will come out in court, but it's very possible that the family knew nothing about it. And furthermore, like Cryptex stated earlier, when you start when you are Richard Allen and you're like, hey, look, I went and gave them a statement that I was there, and then they said this and that. You're not wanting to think that your husband, your wife, your loved one is a killer of children. So, like, if you can even grab onto anything that gets you sort of out of that mode, you're probably going to grab onto it pretty hard. And the media saying, well, definitely not blue eyes, and you got your husband and backing that up with, well, if they thought it was me, I think they'd arrest me. I already told them I was there. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, you know. So for her not to know or to put it in the back of her head and just deal with, she's working for a living every day. I mean, things don't just happen in a vacuum, like from where we see it on YouTube. Like, they're living their everyday lives and cleaning the dishes and picking up the dog shit and stabbing, weird birds and shit in their backyard with knives and recording it. So yeah, and doing odd dances at the bar and crazy laughter and crazy eyes and googly eyes and probably eating a lot, obviously. And that's fine. So we can't say for sure that they knew or didn't know. It'd only be speculative, and also to say for sure that they knew, I think says it's more revealing about the person saying it than the person you're saying it about.
Yeah,
Right?
that's interesting, man.
I mean, it might be an indication from your own heart, like how you would react to something, like that. Like, I mean, we don't know what Katy Allen was feeling. I mean, I know that my neighbor, who is the wife of a serial killer, was.
What?
Well, no, really. I said that earlier. Remember Brian Sugram, Dateline NBC. I mean, my mom was the godmother of their children. He's a serial killer. He killed his first victim in New York when they first started dating. He had his parents took in people that were they had to be fed and stuff, and they were like, I don't know how to say it, indigent, or I don't know. They couldn't even walk and stuff, so they were mental, and they would take, and they get paid by the state to sort of take care of them. Well, she knew that he rolled one of them up in a carpet and dumped him somewhere. Now she ended up marrying him anyways after that. So there's an argument to be made that knowing that going forward, that maybe you were not helping out by any means, but the 4 women he killed after that in my town, he only got charged with 2 of them, but I know there are more bodies. I know his kids, I know his son, what he said.
What's his name again?
His name is Brian. Last name is Sugrum, Sugrim. He was Kalamazoo's last notorious serial killer.
How many victims?
Well, I think 3 that they charged him with, but he lived in Florida where a couple young girls were murdered. It seems like the places he lived, there seemed to be unsolved murders.
Oh, yeah.
And also where he out here, they found some skeletal remains in a couple different places, and they have not identified the killer. I believe it's him. They're in an area that he was familiar with. I mean, I was riding with him once, believe it or not, in a red Jeep, and we were behind. I swear to God, I'm not bullshitting you. And it's wintertime, and the top is off, and I'm hammered, and he's hammered, and we're riding behind the old factories in my neighborhood. And a loaded 357 falls out of his waistband onto the floor and could have easily blown my face off. Now, I don't know if he planned it that way, but after I found all this out, I thought about it.
So you knew him?
I knew him well.
And before you knew the information that he was actually a serial killer, did you feel something about it, or?
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said, oh, he's a killer. But when my mom said, guess what they charged Brian with? And I said, or, something, and she made a reference to it, and she goes, and as soon as she said it, I said, boom, bingo, that's it. I knew it. He worked at KVCC, which is Kalamazoo Valley Community College, as a janitor late at night, overnight, and he would ride his bike clear from Elcott Street, where I lived, all the way out to the 9th Street campus. You're talking like 7-8 miles. This dude was an MMA fighter. He was in good shape. And he didn't mind being a bastard about it. And, but on the way, he would be seeing people that were on drugs, that were prostitutes and things like that. And so he would use that as his excuse, that he's sort of cleaning.
Vulnerable people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's better than everybody, all of a sudden. And these aren't human people. They deserve to die,
Mhm.
and not just die, but they deserve to be shot, beaten, stabbed, and, set on fire, even, or whatever the hell he did. Now, here you have an odd case because you have somebody that helped him burn his van to the ground, which had evidence in it. Who was that? So to me, are there other actors in this? I don't know. I got to be careful what I say. I live in this community with these people, and so I watch it a little bit, and also be sensitive to the fact that I am friends with his son. Who's even said that after the Dateline NBC interview, he'd like to come on my show and set the record straight. So I may give him the opportunity to do that in the future.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I mean, it is, but you know what? It fit. It totally fit. And as soon as my mom, because I wasn't living with my mom, this happened. I mean, I moved out of my house when I was 17. I mean, so this happened, but I would go over to my, I mean, it was where I grew up. You know what I mean? And I knew them well. They spent the holidays with us. I mean, we were close. It was close. Like we were their best friends. My mom was, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
close enough to be the godmother to their children. And what ended up getting him busted was they had moved out of the neighborhood out into Oshtemo, closer to KVCC where he worked, and his daughter got an A minus, and that wasn't acceptable to him. It had to be an A or an A plus, and he beat her so bad she took off running through a cornfield, about a half mile, and this kid could run. And she went to a neighbor's house, and she said what he did, ratted him out, and the cops came, and that's when they started tying shit together. And as soon as they arrested him, that's when his wife, I won't say her name, but that's when the mom, said, "Oh, by the way, he killed somebody," and
Yeah.
started putting that together. They kept him in jail, and he'll be spending the rest of his life in prison now. But yeah, he's a serial killer. He's a dark, dark person. Brian Sugram, middle name Besham. He was from Trinity, I think, the island of Trinidad. No, Trinidad. Yeah. hmm
Trinidad and Tobago.
Somewhere
Yeah,
down.
maybe.
hmm
So now that was
Real, ma-
interesting.
real macho man. The women were shit. Guys were, bitches. Women were
Yeah,
his possessions. I mean, he just was a
was the
big.
culture there?
He wasn't a good person, man. I mean, I mean, he tried to act like one of those enlightened, type thing, like he's giving me life advice. Let me tell you how the real world is, kid. And I never bought it. I never bought people like that. Um, so yeah, he's where he needs to be, except for as far as I'm concerned, he could be 6 feet under the ground.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh man, that's a crazy story, man. You know,
Dude,
uh,
that's Cryptex. I tell you, that's only one on the corner, and we won't even go into it. When I grew up as a kid, the guy that lived on the corner that was like 2 years older than me ended up raping and murdering his own sister and is in jail for the rest of his life because of it. And that was unsolved for 10 years. And that
oh,
his name, and this is odd too, David Waite, Waite, Waite. But there was a Waite that was just arrested that's his same age in a town that's about 20, 25 miles away from here for a cold case back in the 80s around this same time. And he had cousins that were the same age in the same area. And I wonder if those Waites that are spelled the same way weren't related. I tried to find a connection online, but I'm not a great researcher, unfortunately. Some people are really good. Do you consider yourself a good researcher, by the way? Like,
yeah, for sure. No, that's crazy, man.
I'm no good at researching. That's like you have to know the good terms to type in to find the right information. I'm more like old school. Like I go to the library and look through the little box with the little cards in it.
I'm 50-50. I'm like in the middle of the old generation and the new generation. So I try to adapt to the new technologies, but I'm still old school. And that's why it took me like a lot of time to go live, because I didn't have any idea how to use StreamYard to go live, to accept someone like you calling into my channel or to present. That's crazy. It took me some time. Um the guys of this generation, they're gonna do that in 1 hour. That's crazy. But anyway,
That part I get. Like anybody that knows me at all knows that the reason I have meltdowns is always technical. I seem not to have an issue talking. Obviously, I could blabber on endlessly about an endless amount of subjects, but I don't know how to run this shit. And then you throw on top of it, I finally at least can get on the air. I'm thrilled about that. But like to keep up with chat and type, and do all that, like I'm actually being a guest on your show tonight. Thank you, by the way. I'm able to actually read the chat, and
no, thanks to Coleman.
it's really kind of cool. But then to throw on top of it, like I wanted to do an intro, so I started trying to take out little clips. It's like I don't know how to tie it. You gotta like tie this stuff together and make a commercial. Not I have to do everything like really. Have you ever seen the movie Brazil?
Brazil,
Yeah,
no.
it came out in the late '80s. It's a Terry Gilliam, I believe, movie. He did other movies like The Brothers Grimm and some just really weird movies that really good
It's
organic.
about what?
But it's about being overly complicated as a society. Like everything having way too many tubes and vents and shit coming out of it for no reason. Everything
Okay.
sort of so overly regulated and overly governed down that
Mhm.
it really kind of dumbs down the entire process, and I think that's what I got out of the movie, which by the way is a phenomenal. I highly recommend the movie called Brazil. And
Science fiction.
I would call it almost science fiction, but more boy, it's real hard to it's really hard to put a thumb on what you would call this movie. The effects are almost they're not CGI-ish, it's almost as if they made paper mache come to life or something. It's really, really it's a really beautiful movie, but beyond that, essentially what happens is through government red tape, somebody's name gets stamped wrong, and that person is now on a list basically for elimination. Well, and all because one letter was off, you know, and it just it's I don't know exactly what the point of this movie is, Cryptex, but it did win an
I'm gonna
Academy.
watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
It won an Academy Award for special effects. I do remember that.
Okay, cool. I think it's I'm watching in Google here, 1985 maybe.
Right around then, yeah, would have probably been in the mid to late '80s, yeah. But
Okay.
I haven't watched. It's like 3 hours long, but I mean, you watch a movie like this, and it's like you forget everything else going on around you. It's that it sucks you in,
Some movies are crazy, man. I don't know if you know that show. It's a show called Presumed Innocent. No,
I've heard of that.
it's with Jack Hillengo. I forgot his name. Anyway, it's awesome. But anyway, coming back to Delphi, man.
Sure.
We were talking about arrogance, that we shouldn't be able to say that we are here to solve the crime, right?
Right.
But now I'm thinking, if we are able to get together, even if you are able to connect in some way with the worst creator of this community, if we are all together here brainstorming, putting together our ideas, do you think that in that scenario we would be able to, even with the subscribers and the viewers, to solve this crime, or that's just a crazy thing I'm talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think it's a positive. I think the net is positive when you're dealing with a case that's already not Delphi, because I don't know how far Delphi ever went out of the sort of sphere of unsolved murders. It never, to me, it never hit such cold case status like some cases do. And so you're talking about something or someone that hasn't even been mentioned in 5, 10, 20 years. I don't see how we're doing bad with that unless we're, letting out names and information we shouldn't be, which brings me to a point that I brought up on not my last slide, but the one before that. I really would like, it's not a project that I'm qualified to do. I mean, But, and I don't think it's one that anyone should put their name on, but we need something like what the AP has for reporting. And that's just a handbook of standards, what to do in certain situations. Like I said, if you're like me and your feet on the ground and you're looking, literally taking drones and looking for bodies, I haven't done that yet, but I could see myself doing that. That's awesome and it may help out a lot. But what if you're destroying evidence and killing the case? There should be a bit of a handbook on what policies to follow, loosely, like a Cliff's Notes of what to do in this situation or that situation, that is written and endorsed by law enforcement, so that we're doing what they're asking us to do as a community. And maybe that's where I see the biggest gap, not amongst the creators in the web sleuth community, but between the people that can actually go out and do something about it, with active authority. And those people don't want shit to do with us. We're considered amateur assholes in their eyes, in my opinion. And that's unfortunate, because I think, like Cryptex, like you said, if you put us all together and link us with a direction, with some guidance, that
Some kind of regulation, let's say, some limits.
yeah, limits. These would be a loose guideline. And, I understand we have a First Amendment and people can say what they want. But if you want that endorsement, if you want to know that, hey, I'm doing the right thing, then maybe you try to follow these guidelines a little bit so you're not screwing up somebody else's case,
Yeah, 100%, man.
But just one of my brilliant ideas. I'm an idea guy, and I'm not a guy that gets anything done in life. I only get ideas out of my head.
Come on, you have your YouTube channel, man. That's awesome.
I'm on your YouTube channel. I still haven't made a show in like a month, but it's great to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you right now? At home in your room, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at home
Cool.
here. For my temp. I've been here 24 years, but if anybody knows, I did get foreclosed on. So I have until March 13th to be out of here. But the good news is I get to keep my equity. I worked hard, for 23 years and paid my bills. I've had a bit of a rough year. Like I said, I get a little mental sometimes. I've dealt with some health issues that I don't talk about very often, and whatever we deal with, but I'm always busting ass around here, walking somewhere. I don't have a good working car right now. That kind of hurts, but
You look fine,
basically,
man.
as soon as I sell this house, that's all going to change.
You,
Yeah, I
you,
plan
look,
on.
you look like in a
I'm
good
gonna
mood.
miss
I'm
my.
happy for that.
What's that?
You look like in a good mood. You look fine.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm great. I wouldn't have called in if I was in my pissy mood. I
I'm
would.
happy. You can do it also, no problem, man.
Man, look, man, I don't relish the thought of ever bringing anybody else down. That's not. This community has been so good to me. When I have felt like that, they've only lifted me up, and so I can't really. I want to do the same thing for them. That's all.
Yeah, man, cool. Okay, no, man. I think.
Cryptex, my new job, is, I've been delivering for 35 years, 500,000 city miles, 0 at-fault accidents. I'm going to buy a Mercedes Sprinter, a cargo van, or something similar. And
Cool.
they're screaming for people. I'll have about, look, I don't mind saying I'm going to make about $100,000 here, pay off whatever bills I got, have about 80 left, and I can easily afford 1 or 2 cargo vans and start a whole new life here. So I'm not in a situation where I'm going to be bummed out about it anymore. I'm going to see it as a springboard. And when I got that Elon Musk, that Musk net from my Sprinter van, I'll be doing my show from the road.
And no, the important thing in life is to create experiences, man. Money, that's just temporary, that the important thing is the experiences. Have good moments, create good connections with people.
I have an offhanded question for you that I ask everybody that I talk to now, if you don't mind. Has nothing to do with murder, but what do you
I'm not a serial killer. I'm a kind of serial one.
I know. You know what, man? I consider myself a relatively good judge of character, and I already knew that about you. So, that you were not a serial killer. You got a good heart, man. I mean, that's really, I think that's what everybody in your chat that I can tell. Like, I mean, there's no trolls. You don't even need a wrench. You know what I mean? I think it's important to highlight sometimes the good things about this forum and about meeting strangers, if you will. I don't have stranger danger. Um, I'm not afraid of the public, and I look forward for one when I get my Sprinter and my cargo van, and I'm literally delivering nationwide with having a cup of coffee or smoking down with some of these people that I've been chatting with across this country. If they're willing to meet up with me in a public place, I'm not asking to stay the night in your fucking house. I mean, I'm just saying I want to meet up. I want to see you people. It's not necessary because I still feel connected without it. I don't feel like I need to shake someone's hand or look into their eyes to know that person anymore. But I did feel like that until I found this community. That's for sure.
Yeah. But what was your question?
I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about NHI, non-human intelligence, possibly being amongst us already or visiting us from a distance?
I'm so freaking scared, man, about that. Scary. It's
It is.
really scary. Yeah. Oh my god.
That's the most honest answer I've ever gotten from anybody, man.
No, for real.
Have you
And
seen
we are just
Yeah. I mean,
at
Scott.
at the beginning of that scenario. It's gonna be a monster, and it's not gonna be like a gradual croissants. How do you say that in English? A gradual.
Slow disclosure, gradual disclosure.
It's gonna be like like that.
Yeah.
Like a vertical line. Today is just like a chat box. How do you call that? A chat bot, or I don't know even.
I know what you're saying. It's gonna go from 0 to 100 like immediately.
Exactly. In 2 years, oh my God, that's gonna be like we are gonna be the slaves of that intelligence, artificial intelligence. I don't know, man. And
Look, I mean, I know what I
it's
saw,
scary.
what I recorded. I know what video Scott Roeder, the crime scene reconstruction specialist, is breaking down my UAP video. He told me it was legit. And I saw those objects with my eyes before I started recording them, so it wasn't an artifact of the camera. Again, though, what they are, where they're from, what they want, I have no idea. I wouldn't profess to say, but I'm happy never seeing that shit again. I'm not out there in the desert with a laser beam trying to call these things in for tea. I don't know. I don't like that. You don't know what I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. And when you look at what they're doing in our own Senate, even with Chuck Schumer, who's the Senate Majority Leader, trying to get this legislation on the books to rein this in away from corporations, ought to tell everybody that this is a serious topic. It's real. It's already here, in my opinion. Again, until there's proof, many people on this level aren't going to believe any of this stuff, or they will say, why would they want to come here? But that's all for them to decide. But I know something's already here. What it is, I don't know.
No, it's crazy, man. And I don't know. Again, uh, I don't know. We need some regulation about that. And today we are seeing also the nails of the monster. In 2 years, we are gonna see the big monster, like handling the planet, man. It's crazy because our brain, we always say we have no limits. We are our brain is so huge, so big. But compare your brain with an artificial intelligence brain. They are learning every single second, collecting millions of data and updating themselves. It's like an exponential. I forgot that word in English. Sorry for that. When you say like, increase of learning, you say we can learn in a gradual pace, but an artificial intelligence, they can learn like in a vertical a vertical pace, is there's no competition here. We are gonna be the slaves of that. I'm thinking about Terminator. I don't wanna I don't wanna feel like a conspiracy theorist here, but that's the scenario I picture in my brain.
Plausible. I mean, plausible. I mean, these things are going to be stronger than us. They're going to be faster. I mean, if you look at general dynamics, they already create, um, these things that can do complete like somersaults on their own power. They can carry guns. I mean, it's all they have to do is turn them out in quantity, and we're screwed. But I mean, I'm not as worried about that. I'm not really worried. Is not the right word. What I really feel is that there are people that are in the know. There's not a lot of them that know some aspect of what is going on, and that we're just mere pawns in their classified reality. Basically,
Hmm.
that since if you believe the documents, if you look at the Twining Truman memo. I mean, Truman sent General Twining down to the Roswell area, which isn't even where the crash happened. It was in Corona, but um, and when he writes him back, that document clearly states that this thing is not of human origin. I mean, there are aspects of this machine they found. In one field, it was a bunch of tinfoil looking stuff. But in the other field, they found the actual craft. That tinfoil stuff is kind of like a protective shell. And the actual craft was in another location. But and then you have higher ups in the military that are now retired and saying all that they're saying. And by all that they're saying, they're not mincing words. When you're talking about for the Navy, I can't think Tim Gallaudet. I mean, he's clearly said he was the Navy's microbiologist, that they have seen, tracked, and censored things that are not human. I mean, Ronald Reagan didn't keep saying in front of groups of people, well, imagine if we had an outside threat from an alien force, we'd all come together, blah, blah, blah. That Reagan-esque sort of way of saying, we're screwed, man. Why do you think he was making Star Wars? Those weapons weren't going to stop Russian missiles. They were pointing outwards to stop them.
Yeah, and just look at the video games. In the 80s, we had the video game. It was like Atari. It was ping pong. You saw you had like a ball, ping pong, ping pong. It was like 1 pixel. And now, when you are playing a video game, you are not able to make the difference between the reality and the image or the video you are watching or you are playing in that screen, let's say. So it's not normal, man. It's like it took like 3,000 years to go to a ping pong Atari video game, and just in 20 years, you are not able to make the difference between the reality and a video game image. It's not. I don't know. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's like when people talk about simulation, it's not a crazy idea, man. In my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, I mean, look at these Sims games, I mean, it's kind of like that. And I was going to go back to the Yellow app. Now, we can almost kind of throw this back on Delphi for a second. And Cleo has a question also that I'll try to answer. But if you remember at the time the Yellow UO app came out and how it was connected to Snapchat with being able to virtually track people without their knowledge, if you think about games like Pokemon Go, those were coming out right at that same time. So this whole sort of mindset of virtual reality video game playing, you're walking along through your camera, plucking things out of the sky, you know, um, sort of leads into this sort of Yellow UO app, in my opinion, just making that distinction. And Cleo asked me if I could sort of explain the common phrase of "shame on you," as far as it being an accusatory statement. um I mean, to me, anytime anyone's ever said shame on me, and believe me, they've said it to me more than once, but it's been I don't know if I want to say accusatory, because I feel like at that point the accusation's already out there, whatever it may be, and that the shame part is, well, you did it, now shame on you, and I'm going to sit here and relish in it and make you squirm a little bit. Was she doing that to her husband? I don't know. Did she play that card on him where she kind of had that moral authority? Shame on you. I know what you did last summer. I don't know. Maybe that's sort of the fly on the wall, kind of conversation that we all wish we could be there for, probably.
Yeah, I was kind of lost with Cleo's comments, but I think I understand now because the title of my video is "Blame on You, Katy Allen," and
Oh,
that could be misleading, So sorry, it's my bad, my bad. But if you watch the video, you can understand that was not the intent or the purpose of.
maybe just a question mark after that, probably. Blame on you, question mark? I mean,
Uh,
probably.
there's a question mark, but maybe it's not enough,
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. Oh, okay. No, I think Cleo. Then he answered that for you. Yeah, I didn't know the name of the live because I just I think he was already on for maybe 45 minutes or an hour by the time I popped on. So
Coming back to Delphi, the fact Libby was naked and Abby was redressed with Abby was redressed with Libby's clothes. What's your take about that? What's your thinking?
I mean, honestly, I don't
And I'm gonna go for another drink. Sorry.
Yeah,
You can talk.
I'll explain really quick how I feel.
Yeah.
I just feel like I can't really put into context because I'll be honest, if I had the opportunity to look at those photos, I wouldn't look because I'm not a police officer. I'm not the family, and it would feel disrespectful for me to look at that. To me, excuse me. Unless there was something incredibly relevant that would help us solve this case. I don't think there is. However, I don't know how one thing relates to the other in this case without that knowledge. So it's like a big mystery spot. The whole crime scene, what it all meant. I kind of forgot his question, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that we know. We glean this information from like the Erskine texts, these so-called Erskine texts where they say they were found like this, but then you hear in the FBI Ron Logan search warrant affidavit that it was totally different than that. So um I remember at the beginning that they wouldn't even let crime scene investigators talk to each other. I could have swore I read that, and that seems very unorthodox. And I'm wondering if you remember anything about that cryptex where they banned the intermingling of crime scene investigators.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
I don't know, man.
Wouldn't you want your team of crime scene investigators to talk as a group so you could brainstorm on shit? I don't know how that works really. I guess I could ask Steve about that, being that he's an ex Steve from True Crime Web. He's an ex crime scene investigator. He might have a little. See, when I'm thinking of a web sleuth community that could actually be that crossover show or help bridge that gap, it's that show that I think of because Steve is that guy. He knows how to broadcast and he knows the inner workings of law enforcement.
Yeah, he had the experience.
Yeah.
But other people could say, "Oh, maybe he's too pro law enforcement."
Yeah, they could get that.
I love him. I love that guy. He's awesome.
I think he would openly admit that. Yeah.
And talking about that, I'm just curious, man. What are your favorite creators in this community? Just
Well, besides you,
thank you for that, man.
I don't have a lot of favorites. I have a lot of different ones I'll watch.
Who do you follow? Let's say.
Well, who I got like 3 shows that I really make a point to watch. That's True Crime Web because of that experience.
Yeah,
I've
me
been a
too.
part, I just Sleuth is my guy, I mean, I'm pretty loyal to him, not out of loyalty's sake, but because I like his voice, I like the way he broadcasts. I like the way his ideas resonate with mine, and we're on.
He's very open-minded.
He is open-minded, and we're on completely opposite, say political spectrums. But I like the fact that we could sort of joke about that, and that he doesn't think less of me for it, and I don't think less of him for it. Like we
Yeah.
have really good
No,
sleuth.
he's really smart, man.
Yeah, he's a good person. Anybody that works a full-time job, has a big family, and 17 animals and a garden, and who also takes all their time to help try to solve these crimes is a good person. That's all I have to say.
For sure he is.
And
I,
I don't
I
I don't
had him. I had him here in my show like maybe 1 month ago. It was great. Yeah, nice guy, man. I like him.
and he's a great person to have on too, because he's just a good natural broadcaster. He understands timing. He understands how to bring something around full circle. If you sort of like, I kind of get lost in my thoughts sometimes, and he's really great about staying on topic and bringing it back around. So
And
um,
he has some skills when interviewing people.
definitely.
Those interviews he made to what's the name, Westfall,
Oh,
and Julian Powell, and he's really good when conducting interviews. He's really smart.
you could just feel him during that Julian Powell interview, sucking just as much information that he could get out of him
Yeah, I
without,
agree.
without scaring him off. It was just brilliant. And that's the show. That's the actual show that I listened to that and I go, wait, what's going on here? And I listened to this interview and I said, wait a minute, man, there's something going on with this whole community. I said, there are broadcasters like this and that. And I joined it immediately. It was just so good. I said, this is better than any mainstream news interview I watched, that gets cut down and edited into a 2-minute blurb. You got room to breathe on a show like this. You have room to marinate with a thought
Yeah.
in a way that you don't on television. And if you like amateur things more than professional things, if you like YouTube or amateur broadcast, you probably like college sports more than pro sports, I would say. You know what I mean? Like it's more like that. Not that just anybody's grandma can come on and shit out a show. That's not what's entertaining. I mean, that's entertaining for somebody's family, but that's not to me entertaining. Now, the other shows I like are Kristen Behind the Crime Door, because she applies AP standards to her reporting. Those same AP standards that are taught in basic journalism classes to journalism 101 students. So again, why we don't have something like that for the web sleuth community, just a physical, it doesn't have to be a physical handbook. Obviously, we're online. It could just be a PDF, something that is endorsable by law enforcement that says, look, you guys are checking this off. You're doing the right thing. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's a matter of chemistry. You may be like a great brain, but if you don't have that chemistry, maybe you don't connect. And I don't know. As you said before, it's people with good heart. Anyway, I like. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to Lynn in the chat, I believe it was sexually motivated crime also, or that
Yeah,
some aspect of this crime. That's what I guess that's what I don't know as far as Delphi goes. Is it sort of a mixed bowl of crimes? Is it a kill two birds, not, no disrespect intended, with one stone? Was there a reason? Is there more than one motive? In other words, is it multiple motives? And if so, how does that all come together? I mean, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah, and again, with the limited information we are working on,
Yeah,
the information that is out there is that the girls were not sexually attacked, at least physically.
right.
So I sometimes I wonder if the perpetrator, sorry, my Spanish plays some tricks on my mind. If the killer he was not able to perform, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Maybe he wanted to commit a sexual attack, but
Right.
he was not able to do it.
That's
And that triggered some kind of rage, and because of that, at the end, he just killed the guards. I don't know. Thinking about that, it was maybe sexually motivated, but he was not able to commit the sexual. He was not able to perform. You know what I mean?
I do know. Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that before, but that's pretty plausible now that I think of it. Because that would be both probably to him in that situation enraging because he couldn't do the thing that he already wanted to do. Um, and so now and then on top of that, if there was any kind of I don't know, pointing it out or anything I mean, it could have sent him over the edge. Um, but I don't see how I still feel though that even if it was planned to be that way initially, that the backup was still murder because why bring the knife, the gun? I guess other than control, that does control. If you're going to, assault someone, you want to probably control them, I guess. I mean, as gross as that sounds to normal people. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, these are all the things, and if other people are involved, why hasn't he said anything or whatever? Is it because he's literally? People could speculate that he's in fear that his family will be, hurt or repercussions, or he's just enjoying the head games, and he knows that by keeping things mixed up, he has a better chance of
Mhm.
getting off from the charges. You know.
I don't know if you know this movie. It's called Dead Man Walking with Sean Penn.
Mhm.
Do you remember that movie?
I actually went to the theater to see that. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, I was probably stoned. I mean, I don't remember. I remember it was about a guy. I always am. I mean, I remember it was about
Shame on you, Foreman.
a guy. He was he was on death row and he became connected with the Susan Sarandon character or whatever
Exactly.
he was doing. But I don't remember.
Bernard. Yeah, I if you rewatch that movie because there's a scene, man, on that movie. It makes me think about Delphi, and it's Sean Penn with another guy in the forest, like in the woods. It's just it makes me think about Abby and Libby, man, for real.
Interesting.
Uh,
What
in
was
that mo- in that
what's
movie, the victims were actually they were a couple, a guy and a woman, like a boyfriend and girlfriend. It was a different situation, let's say, but the idea is that they were in a woods. There were two killers, Champagne and another guy, and that the murder scene it takes like 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds of the whole movie, and you cannot take that scene out of your brain, man. And that scene is this one. The one of the killers, not Champagne, the other one. I don't remember the actor right now.
oh
He
man,
wanted to sexually attack the girl, and he was not able to do it. And he went like into a rage mode, and
hmm
he took the knife and he stabbed the girl. And it was so fast. I think the director he didn't the filmmaker he didn't want to show that scene. It was like it's a flash in the movie, But when you see that scene, it could be something like that in the Delphi's case. Maybe the killer he was not able to perform and he was like enraged and he killed the girls. I don't know. It's just a random thing, a random thought.
I think that's as plausible as far as where bridge guy or the assaulter was coming from as anything else. I mean, that makes total sense to me. And you know, what that would kind of lead into. Oh God, I was trying to think of there's so many different theories like this sleuth has gone over, but that there was a previous inappropriate relationship between possibly one of the girls and him. Um, as much as we hate to say that, but it's possible.
Farmer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
can you give me 2 minutes?
yeah.
I'm gonna show the scene because some people are asking
Great.
for that.
Yeah,
It's
it'd be
just
good
2 minutes, and just stay with me, please.
for sure.
Sorry if it is too graphic, but
Do you have audio?
this jump. No audio so far.
Oh, okay.
Sleep. We didn't know it's private property. Get out of the car. Where are we going? Oh, there's a little bar back here somewhere. Yeah, I'll bust in the bar. Can't let you go, don't. You've been bad. Our boss won't be pissed. Yeah, but maybe he'll let you go. Well, here we are. This is the bar. Can we get your drink?
Sorry, guys. This is a little bit graphic. It's gonna take 1 minute, so just warning.
Down.
So that's the Dead Man Walking with Champagne. The movie's excellent. Is based on a real case, and I think that something like that could happen in the Delphi's murders. And
Yep.
I don't know, man. You see, look at this. You see the woods, the area. I don't know. It makes me think about the girls, man. I don't know. I know it's disturbing. Sorry for that, but
No, but
uh,
it is similar.
you know,
Kind of almost. Have you ever seen? Although they didn't murder them and they weren't young kids, but if you've ever seen the movie with Ned Beatty where they're on the river, Burt Reynolds, help me out here, Chad, if you can. They go down the river there down south, and you know it's the fame. You know, I don't- squeal like a pig. You know, but that's a really dramatic scene if you actually watch it. And
what's the movie?
I'm now having a hard time remembering. I had to Google it, but
Okay.
basically they filmed it on location. It was John Voight, Burt Reynolds, and somebody else, and two other people, and they go down this river on a canoe trip where they're then sexually assaulted by rednecks in Kentucky, and there's a whole banjo scene, and it's they almost
Deliverance.
Deliverance. That's it. Yeah, I watched that right before I went canoeing overnight with my friend. Yup. We were like, let's watch a canoeing movie, and it made canoeing. I was up all night. I was nervous. But that was filmed on location. They almost died filming that movie. I mean, it was dramatic, you know. And you know, there's kind of a scene in there like where they sneak up on them like that, and they take control of them, you know, where the guys do, and they rape them basically, you know. And I mean, it's just an incredibly powerful scene. I mean, people made, you know, sort of made, you know, fun of it or whatever, but it's dramatic, and to think that something like that could happen, yeah. I mean, you could even think about those three little boys in Florida where HBO had that whole thing to get them released and all that. Damien Eccles and all that stuff. Those kids. I almost feel like something like that might have happened there too in those woods. You know, where they were sexually assaulted and something that was weird. You know, it's like now no one's even been charged with that. They let the original people out. I mean, the Westboro 3. You ever hear of that case, Cryptex?
Oh
Westboro
my
3.
god. I was watching that Deliverance scene, man, and I wanted to play it here, but no. Oh
It's a
man.
it's a tough scene, dude. It's not.
Oh,
It's a rough one.
and
I mean,
as Cleo says, it does happen. Yeah, it happens.
it happens.
Sadly.
And you know, and that wasn't even about that, but I'm saying like a scenario where you know, it reminds me of a channel called Blackish University. I watched a show he did where he had some shade tree mechanics from the Delphi area fix up his Hummer, and he had this he tipped them in. He ended up tipping them in because he felt like they were the killers. And it was two guys, one older, one younger. They both resembled one of the sketches. And the older one was the one that was not in charge. And the younger one was bossing him around. And the older one had a speech impediment. And then they ended up moving. And he lived out back in a shed. And I thought, man, it was so odd. And they drove like a black Suburban with like stickers on the back window, you know? And I thought, gosh, you know, it. But then they convinced me that was BB's truck. So I guess that ain't it. But if you have a chance, you should check out Blackish University. He just had a run-in with some local mechanics from the Delphi area, and it's a creepy-ass story. And it really is.
Man.
And it's spelled Blackish, Blackish University. And he has a million shows on there, all to do with music and stuff, and only 2 about Delphi. And that's because he dealt with some local shade tree racist mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he suspects we're the Delphi killers.
I'm watching for it right now. Okay, give me 1 second.
But it's rabbit hole stuff too, you know.
All is well in the world. This video is a bit different. It's for a different part of my YouTube channel. For those that didn't see the video, a couple of years back, I was hiring some people to do stuff around the house. I have an investment property in Chicago, but I have my project.
Yeah, I think I remember him now. I know what you're talking about. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird too because I remember like when I was way before I was web sleuthing, I used to just kind of look at shit. You know, I didn't call it web sleuthing. I just would, for some reason, try to look up stuff and see if I could find facts on the murder. You know, whatever you want to call that. I was sleuthing on my own and not putting it online. I guess I was just researching. And there was a case where somebody really felt like they had brushed up against the Delphi killer, but all they had was a guy on video who pulled into their driveway in a black Suburban and started to get out. And he was built about the same way as Bridge Guy, kind of stout, short, and a little chubby, it looked like. And he like turned around halfway and walked back to his shitty black truck, got in and left. And based on that, they said they felt like he was the Delphi killer. So they knew something that we didn't know. And I've never been able to find that video again. So I don't know. I don't know. But it was just really weird. And the guy didn't look like anyone that I recognized from the area. So, wow.
Do you know this movie, The Little Things, with Denzel Washington and Jared Leto?
No, I never watched it.
I'm gonna play a 2 minutes video here I made at the time,
Okay.
and let me know what do you think about this, and you guys too in the chat.
Material wound. 7. Material wound. 7 body cavity. Another stab wound. Scroll to here. All the way to here. This is where she died. So 1. Is she there? This is where she died. So 1. Is she there? Good job, Phil.
The assumed room temperature 2 or 3 days ago. No more when we take her out.
Lean her forward. Postmortem avidity. She was moved. She was moved.
He goes back to Julie's house 2 days after he kills her, moves her body, shaves her legs, poses her. He brings beer, milk, food, he's doing something little party.
They found partially digested meat in her stomach. She's a vegan, strict vegetarian. She never touched it, same as Anna, no way.
Not even with a knife to her throat. Nobody wants to eat alone.
Her next wife, why the extreme torture and the love bites? No rape, no sodomy, no.
So he kills for sexual pleasure.
Her next wife, why the extreme torture and the love bites? No rape, no sodomy, no.
So he kills for sexual pleasure.
What's that?
What? Why not?
was Julie's last supper?
Roast beef. What?
Little things that are important, Jimmy. The little things that get you caught.
Man, that movie is freaking awesome.
I want to watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that now, man. I never watched that before. That looks
Yeah, man. The killer, the suspected killer there is Jared Leto, and that scene when he was like in the interrogation room, and he said, "Why?" And he said, "Why not?" You know, we are always thinking about the motive. What was the motive of this crime, whatever, and the motive could be just why not, you know. But you have to watch this movie, man. It's awesome.
I will.
It's called the Little Things. It's Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, and Ramsey. What's the name of this guy? The one who did the Queen. You know. Anyway, it's freaking awesome, man. It's what a movie, man. You have to watch that movie.
You think it's on Amazon? I got Amazon.
I think so. I think it's in Amazon.
I'll watch that tonight and later.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the psychology of the serial killers, and you're gonna love it. The twist at the end, man, it's
Scared. I
freaking
get
awesome.
scared, man, at these kind of movies. I get disturbed pretty easy with this kind of stuff. But that I like Denzel Washington in a few different movies that are similar. So he plays such a good like detective, you know, and whoever films that kind of stuff, they make it extra mysterious and creepy. So I like that. You know, but I mean, I do like a good mystery, but that goes for a treasure hunt, not always murder. You know, I like to keep it light sometimes too.
Yeah, I got it. No, but the crew there is awesome. Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, the other guy I forgot his name, and the plot, the twist, phew, it's really
Yeah,
cool, man.
that's where it's at. I mean, I do love a good plot twist. Who doesn't? I mean, I was always disappointed with that one movie where they said, "Man, you get to the end, you're never gonna guess what happens." Like we all knew that chick had a dick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. And the one I love, that the top of the top of the top is Seven.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Oh,
man. That's
oh,
a good movie. And
that's
That's Brad Pitt, right?
Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and the filmmaker is David Lynch. Oh,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's David
It-
Lynch.
really?
Yeah, man.
See that part I didn't remember. I mean, I
No,
know.
David Fincher. Sorry, David Fincher.
Okay, I was gonna say David Lynch. I'm
No,
like,
no,
man,
David Fincher.
I'm seeing, uh well, if you've ever watched David Lynch movies, I watched pretty much all his movies. He's the first one. It's called Eraserhead, and
Oh, yeah.
it's
I
quite
know.
it's quite
That's
disturbing.
freaking crazy, man.
I could only watch it once. I was on LSD. I'm sorry to disappoint everyone. That was years and years ago. And
Did you watch Twin Peaks?
oh yeah, yeah, the movie, the show. Yeah, I liked both. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was awesome, man.
Wild at Heart with Nick Cage and what's her name? Was that Winona Ryder? No, that was different. But
No, no,
but
no.
Wild at Heart he did.
Yeah,
What was the big one he did? I mean, the best one with Dennis Hopper, Blue Velvet. I mean, that's how I got my introduction to David Lynch was through Blue Velvet.
yeah,
That's
blah, blah, blah.
watching other producer directors like John Waters and many other ones. So I mean, I've always liked I've always liked independent things. I don't like any corporate studio shoving down my throat what I like.
Yeah, me too. I'm like in the middle.
Yeah.
Some commercial stuff is good, but I love indie movies and indie stuff for sure.
That's not to say that musically or a movie or whatever can't be a really good movie and be a huge hit too. That makes total sense if it's good.
And
It just
some indie stuff is just garbage, you know.
total garbage, total shit.
Yeah, but some indie stuff is huge. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
man.
much anymore. I mean, that was a certain time, the B movie directors and movie makers like Roger Corman, and the Midnight Movie, and something that you could make in a weekend with some grainy 70s film and some, a couple nipples and some drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that explains 70s movies if you've ever watched any of them. It's always there's a motorcycle, naked chicks, and like Jack Daniels and cocaine. Boom, you got every 70s movie.
What do you think about this comment from Cody? Do you
Wait,
have any information about that?
About what?
Check out this comment. Cody. How does Ivan Fritz fit into the Delphi case? You know about it?
No, you tell me about it, man.
No, me neither. I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh. You talking about their Cody? Are you talking about?
No, Ivan Fritz. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I'm losing that one. Sorry, Cryptex. I just don't. I'm not getting the reference.
No, me neither. Cody, if you want to call and tell us about it,
I'm sorry.
you're welcome. I
Evan
don't have any information about that.
Oh, he's okay. Is that the guy that's that's not Elvis Fields, is it? Is that Elvis Fields?
No.
Okay. I don't know who that is. No idea.
Ivan Fritz. The first time I heard about it.
I don't know, Cody, but I'm interested now. I'll be checking it out.
Yeah, maybe he's mistaken and he wanted to say Elvis Field.
Maybe he's not mistaken and he wants to give us a clue.
Maybe, I don't know. But now that you're talking about Elvis Fields, what do you think about it?
I think he fits the description of Blackish University's diminutive mechanic character who gets bossed around by a younger white dude with blonde curly hair.
It seems to me that is the kind of guy who is easily manipulated,
Yeah.
He could be part of a gang, and when you're in the middle of a gang, you have the leader, the middleman, like I'm not gonna say the stupid man, but
no, you can.
But the guy who is like easily manipulated, So.
Yeah. Well, he reminds me of a character on a show. If anybody watched the show Deadwood on HBO, which they never finished, that pissed me off. They only went 2 or 3 seasons. It was supposed to go one more. But in that show Deadwood, there was a guy that ran the hotel. His name was EB, and he's like this skinny, sweaty, greasy guy who is always sort of trying to position himself better amongst a cadre of riffraff, if you will. And that's how I see Elvis Fields, like already a shit character trying to position himself amongst shittier characters. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Now, Cody says, Rukus showed a pic of him. He looks identical to Sketch.
I mean, Cody, there's been at least 10 people that are with the Youngbridge guy sketch that I've seen that are pretty dead on, that are all different. So I will look, though. I'm definitely, especially if Ruckus is looking at him. I mean, I like Ruckus a lot, and I think he's a good dude in the community. So I'll definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, me too. I love Ruckus. Sometimes I had Ruckus here in the channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if he's here or watching us, I cannot texting him because I'm using my cell phone as the camera, so I cannot use my cell phone right now. But anyway, Cody, I'm gonna ask him about Ivan Fritz.
Yeah.
For real, it's the first time I hear about it. So thanks for the information. Anyways, I'm gonna ask Rokus about that.
Yeah, the chat has given us a couple good names tonight to research between Jenny and Cody. Thanks for the participation in terms of getting a couple leads out there. I do like a new rabbit hole of history, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And coming back to the YouTube creators, I want to go to the origins, let's say. Do you remember at the beginning we had like True Crime Jesus? I love that guy, man, and he disappeared.
Yeah, I heard of him, but I was kind of late to coming, like I said, to the whole idea of this. There's already a well-formed community by the time, and he was already kind of being talked about as someone that was around already previously when I kind of came around. So I don't, was it? I know, did he have any relation with the Captain Howdy or something? 'Cause I really like him a lot.
I really don't know, but at the beginning when I came into this community, those were my favorite creators, man. The captain, still the captain. I love the captain, and True Crime Jesus. I don't know what happened to him. He disappeared. I had a good relationship with Bruiser. You know, do you remember Bruiser the Hooser? He
And
died. He passed away.
Uh, no, because I think he passed away right before I kind of got into, or right shortly after, because I don't even remember him on like Sleuth and Bruiser were pretty tight, and I don't remember him on Sleuth show. So I came into it, like I said, a little bit late, although I have looked at some of his shows since then. He was good, and I was quite uh, flattered and complimented. Kristen said that I reminded her of Hoosier the Bruiser, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
a huge compliment to me personally. So,
It was funny. It was funny because at the beginning I was not showing my face. I was using a mask, and when I was talking to Bruiser, he was the only guy in internet who knew my face at the time, and he never did anything bad to me. We had a really good relation, and yeah, sadly he passed away, man.
yeah, it sounded awful sudden, and also it sounds like he was someone that valued just being a real person again on the other side of the microphone
Yeah.
that you could count on, that you could talk to off the air, that you could, sort of maybe get a little guidance from here and there. Hats off to Bruiser, and I'm a member of his channel. I think you can still join his channel and check out some of his content. I know he's not with us anymore, but I don't want to take that away from any of the shows he did, while he was. I mean, no use letting those go by without watching them.
I think he and the captain they were really close, very good friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, for me it was Marvin Frank, and I like that. I like that show a lot. And then Steve would come on there as an expert witness. And then when he started his own show, I knew that he was just gonna crush everyone. Not that they care about that, whatever, but his numbers are phenomenal, pretty quick. And but he's so good at it, and that was my first meltdown. Is he was going to be my third show, and I already interviewed Sleuth and Kristen, and he was in the green room, but I couldn't get us on the air, either one of us. It was really frustrating, and he had a story. I asked him for a good law enforcement story that he hadn't told on the air before, and he still hasn't told it on the air, as far as I know. And let me tell you, it's going to be quite entertaining when he does. And so I like him a lot. I respect him, and again, Steve's the kind of guy I would email him with an idea about the case or whatever, and he wouldn't delay. I mean, it'd be coming back to me the same day. He'd get right back with me, and he's just a real person, and he's a very caring person. You can tell, and also I could just tell by looking at him that he's got a sense of humor that is mischievous, and I like that.
Yeah. I try to go to the whole spectrum, because I think every single creator they have like interesting ideas, even if we disagree. So we have like the right side, the prosecution area, let's say, and the pro defense area. So you have in one side you have Steve, Ruckus, Christian. More in the middle, you can have the captain, sleuth, intuition,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. You
in
did.
the, in the left side you can have, I don't know, just thinking, eye of Apophis or whatever.
I
But
like.
everyone is working hard here, even if you disagree, and that's why I come back to my original idea. If we are able to be together in this stuff, maybe we can make something good here, man. But maybe that like just like an utopia. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I remember the graphic that you put up. Now that you're beginning,
you remember that?
I do is excellent. In fact, I posted that in Sleuth's Discord and in Kristen's Discord. I said Cryptex nailed this one. I said, you kind of laid it out just like that with a little graphic, and I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know you.
Oh
you
yeah, man.
did that.
I bring receipts. I bring receipts, Cryptex.
Cool, man. I don't know how Discord works. Actually, I'm such a zero about it. Tell me about Discord because I don't know. I
I,
I created once an account, but I think it was like just like 1 week, and it was like a Teams or like Skype. I didn't get the idea of that.
yeah, it doesn't gel real well with me either. I don't like. I have a what they call a server, but I don't have anyone. I don't have any content. I only follow, the
It's
like
like a WhatsApp or what was that? I don't know.
even know I don't know what that is either. That sounds like a kid app. I just don't even mess with those. But uh uh or that bad Budweiser light commercial, Bud Light commercial. What's up? What's up? It's all I can hear, and it's like, ugh. I don't like that about topical or like things that are too trendy, like they get on my nerves quick, So if it's like a catchphrase or real trendy, like I usually stay away from it. As far as the shows go, I don't give everyone a chance. I find probably half the people to be quite toxic. I don't have time for that environment personally because or they're just putting out their own narrative and they want to basically just hear themselves talk. I mean, I see this as a creative uh outlet for myself. I don't plan on monetizing. Of course, I never planned on doing a show either, but there's no plan to monetize. I don't want to make money part of my equation as far as membership goes. So, for me it's just a creative process and I don't think any of us should be taking that seriously. I mean, it's basically people getting together around the coffee table discussing things. I mean, that's how I see it.
No, you have to enjoy the ride, man. And at the end, if monetization comes to your channel, that's good. Enjoy your ride.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm enjoying my ride. I enjoy talking to people like you. I
Mhm.
love my subscribers, man. My channel is still small, but the subscribers are. I love myself, man.
Me too.
Brain people. Good, no, as you said before, you don't see any toxicity here. So
Right.
it's really cool. We can talk without any kind of stress here. Or, I don't know. I love my ride, and you're gonna love your ride too, man. So just do your thing. You
Yeah,
are and,
that's
uh,
all I
and
can.
and and you're a brain man. I love your ideas. I love the way you talk. So just you use it in the good way, man. And why
it's pro-
not?
it's probably been my lifelong obsession with good broadcasters. I've always been a Howard Stern fan. Whether you like his content or not, I mean, he's just good at what he does. Um, uh, when it comes to television, I mean, shows like the Dennis Miller Show, David Letterman. I mean, whatever it is, I become kind of obsessed with it at the time, and sort of pour everything into it. I never tried it myself, but until now, again, I would never call myself a poet or a musician or a broadcaster. I just am someone that likes to be creative occasionally, and that likes a good mystery. That's about it.
Yeah, that's the idea, man.
Yep.
And why did you? What do you say about the music? Are you a musician or what?
No, God, no. I would never say that because musicians know how to play their instruments. I just make noise.
Uh, no, but do you play something or what?
Not well, not well. I wouldn't cop to that. I mean, I used to have all the equipment, but I didn't know how to play any of it effectively. I just like to to make a lot of noise. If you know, if anyone that's with the Discord, you know, I mean, I like music like I like my shows. I like independent things. Um, I like small venues. I mean, I still go to a lot of live shows if I can. I mean, there's not a lot since the pandemic going on. House shows, I'll get sweaty. I'll get a bloody nose in somebody's sweaty basement at 51. I don't care. You know, I just want to see a good punk rock show.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Only
Yeah.
now I don't need to be all hammered and drunk to enjoy it. I can just be me. You know, that's even more fun.
Nice, man. I'm a frustrated musician, man.
What are you?
I would like to play something, but I'm zero about music.
Well, you know, I mean, if you know what you like, you're not a zero. At least you're supporting stuff you like. I know what I like. I don't trust people that like a little bit of everything. That's what I say. It gets sketchy for me. I'm judgy. I'm judgy. I'm a snob. I'm a music snob, Cryptex.
Yeah, I understand that. Oh man, I think, man, I'm gonna end the live here tonight.
Sure, I'll talk I'll talk your ear off all night long. But I should probably
Are you
I gotta pee really bad, man. I'm not lying.
are you gonna do your own shows in the
Oh, yeah,
future?
definitely,
For sure, man.
definitely,
Cool.
absolutely. I mean, I have things. I have ideas. I definitely want to interview. Hopefully, you'll have an opportunity sometime when I can
For sure, man. My pleasure.
structure out something where I could interview you a little more in depth. That'd be great. But I really like talking to other. Again, I don't like the word creator. I just would rather say broadcasters, amateur broadcasters, than to get their take on things. I think I get the sense you enjoy that also, to sort of get where someone's head is at who's doing this. I think it's interesting, and so that's probably the way it'll go. I don't think I can give up on Delphi. And there are two cold cases in Kalamazoo that I would like to look at eventually, but I know the person on one, not the person that was murdered, but the sister of the person, and I'd have to be in 150% on that to take it on. So
Oh, that's good, man. Congratulations. I think you're very smart. You have a very good idea. You have charisma. So use that, man, and go with your channel. Be positive. I wish you the best, and I will be there, man, as a subscriber. And if you want me to be in your channel, I'll be there, man, for real. And I'm very happy I had you here tonight, man. It was a pleasure, man.
it was spur of the moment. I'm really glad I did it, Chad. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. And Cryptex, thank you. You're a class act. And we'll be talking soon, and I'll see you around the channels. Everybody, have a good night. I'd thank the mods, but I don't think you need it or have any. So this is the one channel where you can just chill and not worry about it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Farmer.
You have a great night. Thank you, Cryptex.
Keep in touch.
Yes, absolutely. Good night, everyone.
You too. And you guys, thank you so much, man. Guys, it was awesome to have you here tonight. Thank you for your comments. I wanted to talk about sleep paralysis, but it's kind of late right now. My dog is a little bit not very happy. So maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow, I'm going to talk about my condition. Guys, thank you so much again. Keep in touch and have a nice weekend. See you guys. Bye bye.